Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, a crash on Indy's South Side Thursday night. You'll hear what police say happened as a result of it, what was discussed Thursday as part of the amended property tax relief bill at the State House, and it's a team-up over agriculture. You'll hear who's a part of the team and why. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 9 o'clock.
It's unfortunate, but not a surprise. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the U.S. reaction to China retaliating yet again. Its tariff on American goods now 125%, as the U.S. charges 145% for Chinese imports. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer tells Fox.
No one else has retaliated against these reciprocal tariffs yet. China got out ahead and decided to do it, and that's why they're in a different category than the rest at this point.
Greer also says he'll be negotiating potential deals with other countries. Now, on Wall Street, stock futures are rising the day after continued tariff concern led to a return to selling after Wednesday's rebound. Now, we just got an update on inflation showing a decline in March at the wholesale level. Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni has the numbers.
Month over month, we got a negative 0.4%. We were looking for a gain of 0.2%. That is a big spread. 2.7% was the year over year.
That is a big drop from the 3.2% in February, similar to the decline in consumer price inflation in yesterday's report. 2 controversial deportation cases in court today in Louisiana. Fox's Brooke Taylor reports.
Later this afternoon, the immigration judge here is expected to rule whether or not Mahmoud Khalil is removable here from the United States.
He is a legal resident the U.S. wants to deport, claiming Khalil was a Hamas terror sympathizer for leading destructive anti-Israel protests last year at Columbia University in New York. Another hearing in Maryland today involves the legal immigrant the U.S. deported to El Salvador last month. The Trump administration admits a clerical error allowed that, but insists that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a gang member and should stay in El Salvador. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled they must facilitate his return. The Americans set free from a Russian jail and a prisoner swap back on U.S. soil. And right after Ksenia Karolina landed, she posted a video thanking President Trump that he reposted this morning on Truth Social.
I never felt more blessed to be American, and I'm so happy to get home. Thank you.
Welcome home.
Thank you so much.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's not the way a bicycle and a motorcycle are supposed to end up. Cloudy and 37 degrees in downtown Indy, but it feels like 27 and some counties are under a freeze warning. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Someone on a bicycle collided with another person on a motorcycle in a crash and later died on the south side of Indianapolis Thursday night. IMPD says it happened around 5 o'clock at the intersection of East Troy Avenue and Tyndall Street. An amended property tax bill passed in the House by a vote of 65 to 29 on Thursday. House Speaker Todd Houston says there are a lot of good things in the bill.
Now, are we going to ask some people to do more with less? Yeah, we are. Because I think it's important that local property tax owners get relief.
But critics of it say it loads up more on income taxes, while the property taxes itself are not nearly enough. The Senate will review it next week. A full breakdown of what's in the bill at WIBC.com. $3.16 a gallon is the statewide average for gas today, according to Gas Buddy. That is down a couple cents from where it was Monday. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is teaming up with the Indiana State Department of Agriculture. Jake McDaniel explains why.
That is so they can award millions of dollars for 17 projects through the Resilient Food Systems infrastructure. Officials with the USDA say the projects are intended to form strength throughout the middle of the supply chain and form strength for local and regional food systems. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith says this funding will make sure more Hoosiers are fed. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Pacers clinched home court advantage in the first round of the NBA playoffs with a 114-112 win over the Cleveland Cavaliers Thursday night. With home court comes something else, says Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle.
You got to take a bit different mindset into the playoffs when you're the home team. And so, but that's a challenge we're looking forward to.
The Pacers face the Orlando Magic tonight at 7 o'clock with 2 regular season games left. Pre-game coverage begins at 6:30 over on our sister station, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. And with traffic at 9:04, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Jonas Stone coming out of the north split on northbound 65 near Meridian Penn. Eastbound 465 slow from Allisonville Road over to I-69. Interstates look pretty fantastic as far as delays go here at the moment. Westbound 70 humming from downtown out to the airport with Ronald Reagan Parkway and Ameriplex looking good right now, guys. Traffic sponsored by True Green. True Green, get a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Sign up at truegreen.com. That's TRUgreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
A cloudy start, but we will see some sunshine later this afternoon. It's going to be breezy and cool with highs near 53. Clear and chilly tonight with lows around freezing. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Sean Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. 9:06, time for Kendall and Casey.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
The theme of today's show, Casey, will be lessons in how they're screwing you again.
We're doing that again? That seems to be the theme every single day because it just happens over and over and over again. And you know what, Rob? Thought it was going to be different this time, didn't we?
Well, look, so we're going to explain to you how your taxes are going to go up under this property tax plan. And one of the things I wanted to start the show, because I've had a couple days now to digest this, and I've gone through the stages of grief and, you know.
Are you to acceptance now?
And so I go back to, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob, that's Casey. And we're talking about the property tax plan where the governor lied to all of us, stabbed us all in the back, the phony baloney floor show where he rolled up his sleeves. And look, the natural order is, in the way this political ecosystem works, is I am public enemy number one for the Indiana GOP.
You're back at that position again. Congratulations.
The last year has been quite miserable.
It's a natural place for you.
Trying to work with these people, and let's just get the world order back to where it belongs, and let's just all go forth and go forward, right? It's best for our show. It's best for everyone. So we're back to that. And I'm speaking from the heart when I say this, that I so desperately wanted property taxes fixed in the state. Like, this has been something I have been passionate about for 15 years now. The idea that the government has a forever lien on your home, and the idea that you never actually own this thing that you put your life into has bothered me from the moment I got involved in local government and the whole process.
Yeah, you're perpetually renting from the government.
And there was a little bit of a reprieve, and I've talked before about how those people in 2007 and 2008 and their fight for the property taxes inspired me to, I voted. I always voted before that, but seeing those people and what they did inspired me to get involved and start paying attention and learn about how this whole system works. And it has gotten so out of control. And I so desperately, for our audience, because I love them so much, wanted to fix this, that I was willing to allow, and this never happens. Casey will tell you I'm the most heartless person imaginable. But I so desperately wanted to fix this that I allowed, for a very rare instance in my life, the heart. I allowed my heart to take over my head. And everything in my head said,
don't do it.
Because everything in my head said,
they're lying to you.
Braun is not a fighter. Braun isn't serious about property taxes. Braun, if he was, he would have mentioned it on his own campaign in the primary. But then in my heart said, this guy's going to be the governor. He's going to make the choice. If we can work with him instead of against him, if we can just show him how passionate the people, the populace, this mega torch of an audience is, and if we can keep him engaged, maybe we can somehow win him over. So even though, and remember Jim Merritt told me this, and he told me this on the air. He said when we were talking about, like, who do we support? What do we do? He goes, don't support anyone.
Yeah.
He said, Rob, your strength is that you hold everyone accountable. And you know how this is likely going to end. And Jim,
you didn't want to believe it, though.
No, because I wanted to fix this thing for everyone. I wanted to solve this issue. And throughout this whole process, how many times have you and I said, he's saying all the right things, but it's not with passion.
Right.
It's not Ron DeSantis that's sitting in that chair or showing up.
But you know what? Looking back now, of course, hindsight, right? You saw that through his entire campaign. You felt that, like, okay, he went to Washington. Now he's back saying he wants to be governor of Indiana. And okay. But how many times did we say, I'm just not feeling the passion.
Yeah.
Just not feeling the passion. And you can't force him into it. He's got to want it for himself, for everyone else. And now that you look back, you realize he was going through the motions.
Yeah. And look, this hurts me. We have a lot of fun on this show, but I'm being very, very direct with you, our audience, right now. And I thought for multiple days now how to handle this. And I thought, well, just be direct with you guys. I am personally crushed by this.
Yeah.
Because I always hear, Rob doesn't want to work with these guys. Rob's just negative. Rob doesn't offer anything other than just criticism. Well, for the past 15 months, I have offered to work with these people. And in hindsight, I sent Rod Bray and I sent Travis Holdman, before Senate Bill 1 was heard, a very nice email. Because I believed, foolishly now in hindsight, that these guys, because they made it Senate Bill 1, were actually serious about property tax reform. And I sent them a very nice email, and I said, I will do whatever I can to help you guys pass this bill. You let me know how we can use this show, this audience, to help you pass this bill. And I never heard back from them. And I kept hearing from people in the State House, like, they don't want to alienate people. They want to try to work this through the system. And, like, when in your life, in relationships or in finances or in anything, if something in your gut is telling you it's not right, trust it.
Yeah.
Go with it. And with Braun, my gut told me he doesn't have it and he's not serious about it. But when I saw him at that rally, there was one time where my gut said, maybe he is. In that rally, when he rolled those sleeves up and he held that sign up.
You thought, okay, his heart's in the right place. He really is on board with this.
And if we're being perfectly honest, we got to say we're disappointed in Micah Beckwith, too.
His silence has been very loud.
Now, maybe he'll put out a video today. Maybe he'll put out a tweet today. I don't know. You can check his social media. Maybe he has. But we're 2 days on this. This was the issue that got him elected.
He said he was going to be the accountability voice.
And
where is that voice now?
I feel when I look at who's not holding up their end of the bargain, certainly Braun. Certainly Braun has failed all of the people. He lied to all of you. And we're going to get into the math on how he's screwing you and how the Republicans are screwing you in the next segment. But if we're going to be critical of Braun, we got to be critical of Micah, too. Because where is he at? What is he doing? He went to hang out with Charlie Kirk yesterday. He went to Purdue. Instead of issuing statements, instead of fighting, hey, maybe he's on board with this plan. Maybe he thinks it's great. We don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, check his social media. Maybe there's something this morning. I don't know. But he's let us down too. And J.D. Prescott lied to all of us. And like, my heart hurts because they're not going to revisit this again. If he was going to revisit it again, he would have laid out a roadmap like Mitch Daniels did. He would have said, okay, this is the best I could get right now. Here's what's coming next. You're stay with us, stay engaged. Here's the plan. There's no reforms to local government. By the way, did you see they changed the language now?
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up. So yesterday afternoon, Governor Braun put out a post on X. He said SB 1 offers meaningful tax relief for Hoosiers. The plan to cut, cap, and reform means relief now and systemic changes for the future to protect taxpayers. So that's going to be the new language. Cut, cap, and reform.
Reform what?
And that's the thing. I'm just guessing. I don't know. But I think that the lieutenant governor you're going to start hearing language of reform.
Reform what? The school corporations, the trustees, the townships, the fire territories. It's like they put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound and said, oh, we're done.
Braun went on to say thank you to the House for their hard work, and I look forward to the Senate sending this to my desk for signature next week. So he's on board. That whole veto it, that's not happening. Special session, that's not happening. He's ready to go. They can brag now that they have offered Hoosiers property tax relief on the state level. And Braun can say, well, local governments, that's not my responsibility. That's your local government doing that.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of people, though, that deserve our praise. Because yesterday was the final vote in the House. And 3 Republicans voted no. And 2 of them were people who spoke at our rally.
Andrew Ireland
and Craig Haggard. And God bless those 2 guys. Because they know that when you buck the system, as John Jacob and Kurt Nicely found out, that they will punish you. But those two guys, Casey, God bless them.
Yeah.
They said, I will be true to you. I looked you in the eye and I made you a promise. And I know what a garbage bill this is, and I will stand for you above any political career. Ethan Manning voted no as well. We need to point that out. He's not a friend of this show. We've been very critical of him, but let's also point out, I don't know why he did. I don't know him, right, very well. It's been many years since I've had a conversation with him. So I don't know what his motives were, but he also voted no. But the 2 guys who stood in front of you, unlike that little turncoat backstabber J.D. Prescott, who lied to all of you, who sold out so that he could settle a local school grudge, those 2 dudes did it. And God bless them, and I will never forget that. And I wanted to point that out, that those guys are heroes because they know their colleagues didn't read this bill. They know their colleagues didn't understand this bill. They know their colleagues have no idea what this bill actually does. And at least 3, that's pathetic, 3 out of whatever it is, 70 or 65 or how many ever Republicans are there in the House were willing to say, this garbage ain't going to fly by me. So, look, I tried for you guys, all of you, the thousands of people that are hearing this. I gave you everything I had, and I'm sorry it isn't looking like it's going to work out the way we all wanted it to. I gave you everything I could. I'm crushed that it didn't, and we're going back to the world order, though. The world order is going to reset itself, and we are back to holding these people accountable, and we are going to break them down because they are crushing you.
All right, let's talk about Braun math coming up on 93 WIBC.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Men, if you're over 40, if you're struggling with some low energy, if you're not feeling yourself, Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of the conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. April only, the consultation is free. Treatment tailor-made just for you, and it's covered by most major insurance. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment right now. LowTCenter.com.
It's JMV. Have you seen the color at Miss M's Home and Garden? The greenhouse is bursting with an incredible selection of great tropical plants, hibiscus, mandevillas, ferns, palms, and more, all in stock now at Miss M's. There is so much going on at Miss M's this spring, including 20% off all patio furniture and 50% off all Easter decor. You have to visit Johnson County's premier garden center for all things spring. Miss M's is located on State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP $105,575, Nautilus MSRP $61.95, Corsair MSRP $47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Want to find out what real retirement planning is all about? Tune in to Expedition Retirement with Greg Ayler, Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
Yes, I do.
All right, so it took me 2 days, but I finally put it all together, and I will tell you exactly how your taxes are going to go up under this plan. It's the Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey.
Yeah. So yesterday, the House passed Senate Bill 1. It passed in the House 65-29.
All right, so one of the things that's been a point of contention is this local income tax.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could give you a straight answer on what's going on with local income tax as a part of this bill, because they kept the fiscal note, which came out from the official government body, said taxes are going up, right? Jeff Thompson, head of Ways and Means, in his initial hearing on 1402, said there's these other ways for governments to raise taxes. Now, he didn't say it like that, but that's
he said that they'll generate revenue.
Right. And so then Braun comes out and goes, oh, no, the lid is the local income tax. It's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, wait a second. There's no way, because the only thing that Braun got in this bill that he didn't have before is a little bit extra of a tax credit. And there's no way Thompson just scrapped the rest of the bill. And Braun and his people ain't smart enough to figure it out or negotiate it out. Braun got owned in this thing. Well, he can't get owned if you don't really care to begin with. But point is, I said there's no way they're lowering income tax to local government while cutting property taxes. But I couldn't figure out, nor could many other people, because I talked to numerous people, including some of these lawmakers, on how this little trick was going to work. And I figured it out, Casey.
Of course.
All right, so I'm going to use this analogy to explain how this is going to work and how your taxes are going to go up. So think about a giant rain barrel, okay? And this one giant rain barrel has all the rain in it. So that rain barrel is basically filled up to the tippy top.
Got it.
That is the property tax rain barrel.
Okay.
Then there's 4 other little buckets next to the giant rain barrel. And they just have a little bit of water in them, okay? There's a lot of room for rain to go into those little buckets. So you've got the property tax bucket that's full of rain, and these other little buckets, which are your local income tax buckets, they just have a little bit of water in them, a lot of capacity. Yeah. And 2 of the buckets are actually still empty because all the rain is going into the one rain barrel. So in the case of our local governments, they're getting all of their money from property taxes. And because property taxes have gone up so much, they don't need to exercise these local income tax barrels. That makes sense so far?
They don't need to use the little buckets on the side because they're using everything in the big rain barrel.
That's correct. Now, they're going to take away the state because they want to fool you into thinking they're actually limiting local income taxes. They're going to take away 2 of these buckets that aren't being used anyway. And they're saying, see, look, we've actually lowered local income tax. Well, but there was no rain in those buckets anyway. Yeah, but we took them away. They can't use them anymore, but nobody was using them to begin with. So they took those 2 buckets away, but now what's going to happen is that the rain barrel, full of rain, right? They're going to take that rain barrel and they're going to tip it into these other buckets that previously weren't being used, which are local income tax. So what the local governments are going to say is, we were getting everything from property taxes. Okay, you're going to take that away from us to this property tax reduction. We're now going to use the lit that wasn't being used before to raise your income tax, which we didn't have to do because we were getting everything through property taxes.
Okay, so same amount of rain, potentially even more.
That's right.
The 2 little buckets on the side now could be overflowing.
That's right.
Spilling out onto the ground.
Absolutely correct, Casey. So then the third caveat to this, you know who doesn't get local income tax?
Who?
School systems. School systems now are going to lose property taxes while your county and cities are going to say, we can replace this with the lit. Well, the schools are going to say, well, we're the only ones that can't replace. You know how we replace? Referendums.
Yeah.
So what you're going to end up with, and the next segment we're going to, actually, we'll play this Ed Delaney clip here in just a second. And if we run just a little bit long on the news, just give us just a few minutes to run long. What's going to happen is all of your property taxes deductions are likely going to be offset by income taxes going up. So that's going to be a wash. And then you're going to be left on your own for school systems who were previously still behaving and staying inside the tax caps. You're going to have to fight them for a referendum. Oh, if that passes, now you're going to end up with much higher. At best, you're going to end up neutral. At worst, you're going to end up paying more taxes.
So it's almost like you've got the rain barrel there for the property taxes, and now they're going to tip some of that water into the buckets, and that's your lit. But for the schools, they're going to add a paint bucket there for the referendum.
That's right. Very good. All right. Don't take my word for it. This is Ed Delaney yesterday. He's a state rep, a Democrat state rep, talking about this exact same thing.
I wanted to focus on this. This is what I call brawn, B-R-A-U-N, brawn math. It's a new kind of math. And by the way, I'm quoting from the governor, speaking about brawn math. He came out with a report this morning, or a press release. He had praised this agreement under this bill. And he now says, I trust the deal as it was described as what the amendment was passed, but I have our team going through line by line to verify all the language matches the deal. If we find errors or it doesn't do what I agreed to, then I'm confident the House and Senate will make needed edits to honor the deal before I allow it to become law. So the governor does not understand the deal. Okay, but he agreed to it. But back to the essence of brawn math. It's right there. Representative Thompson and I think, just agreed on the math. Please understand, over 3 years, homeowners will save about $1.3 billion is the estimate. In each one of those 3 years, the local authorities we'll be able to raise your local income tax by $3 billion. So my math is that could be 9. I don't think that'll happen. But Braun math says that if I save you a nickel in your left pocket, I can take 15 nickels out of your right pocket. This is not good math. And by the way, this puts a lot of pressure on the local governments. If they want to provide the services that they've been providing, the vehicle is there. The vehicle is the local income tax. So don't overreact, folks. Count all your tax bills next year. Don't just look at the one that'll probably be in lovely colors telling you saved some money on your homeowner's tax.
There you go.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A 12-year-old girl injures a classmate. A freeze warning in effect for several counties. It's also cloudy and 38 degrees in downtown Indy. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 9:30. That's what investigators say happened when she cut a boy with a razor blade at Southport's 6th grade academy Thursday morning. He had to get stitches. The boy's mother says the girl brought the razor blade to school to try to cut a child's dreadlocks. Perry Township Schools confirmed the incident and said they did not believe the girl had malicious intent. Additionally, Perry Township Schools is already facing a lawsuit. They're accused of fostering an atmosphere of violence because previously a special needs student was attacked there. Dive teams today are continuing their efforts to recover pieces of the helicopter that crashed into the Hudson River in New York City on Thursday, killing all 6 people on board.
It was just overall really sad. I don't know how to explain it any further because I just know that what I saw, it was surreal. I was hoping it was a movie.
That woman says she saw it happen. Mangled pieces of the helicopter were pulled to shore after the crash, but some of the wreckage remains in the river. J.P. Morgan Chase is reporting higher than expected quarterly revenue. Their shares rose about 2% in pre-market trading. And I think that's a perfect segue to our opening bell report on 93 WIBC, which is brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. So far, the Dow is down 197 points to 39,396. The S&P 500 is down 21 points to 5,241. And the NASDAQ trails 58 points at 16,329. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Are you worried about your taxes? Okay, so I'm talking to those of you out there that have not filed in a few years with the IRS or state. It's time to get worried, and here's why. The IRS is getting back from their own COVID lockdown, and they're hiring more enforcers, and they're going to come after people that owe taxes. So if you're a 1099 worker, and maybe you just plain forgot to file your taxes, you need to call the professionals right now at the Tax Helpline. They are experts at knowing the tax regulations, and their goal is to help you pay as little as possible. Call right now and get a 100% free tax evaluation. Remember, before the IRS knocks on your door, knock on our door. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, make this free call right now.
Call Taxes 321 now at 800-808-9443. 800-808-9443. That's 800-808-9443.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a DSNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A DSNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials too. With a Humana DSNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, we got to show you how your property taxes are going to go up now under this bill. And look, I know we spent a ton of time on this the past 2 days, but it's so important, and there's no way to simplify it. Like, I'm simplifying it, even with all the content we've put around it. And you have to know this. You have to have this information because you have to know what's going on and how they're pulling the wool over your eyes with this property tax bill.
No, I think you painted a great picture in our last segment, so much so that even sweet Kevin understands.
Yeah, so the one thing I did want to touch on that we didn't get to, and this is how they're gonna really stick it to people. So property owners will get some property tax credit, right? $200 or $300. We'll get into that in a second. But if you're a renter, apartment, condo, you're not getting any property tax relief in here.
And you got to know your landlord passes that on to you.
Absolutely. You're paying. Actually, you pay more because rentals are at 2% of the value of the home. You're taxed at 2% rather than 1% for homes. You're already paying more anyway. But you will not be excluded from the income tax increases that we just laid out. So if you're a renter, not only are you not getting any property tax relief, but now you will be subject to all of these local income tax increases. So you're going to be paying. At least there could theoretically be an offset if you own a home. If you're a renter, you're paying way more in taxes if this thing goes through.
And if you're someone like Kevin who's at home, mom and dad are probably paying the property tax bill, but now he's going to take a hit on his income without even owning property.
All right, so let's explain how the property tax deduction or credit is also a big, giant scam, shall we? Okay, so I posted that Robin Kendall on Twitter yesterday. I'm going to use a $300,000 home as an example because basically the way the bill is going to work as written right now is the max deduction you're going to be able to get or credit you're going to be able to get is $300. So if you said taxes are, and it's off your property tax bill. So if you don't have a referendum in your school district, there's a good chance you're paying 1% of whatever your home's assessed value is. That's $3,000. 10% of $3,000 is $300. So I'm going to use a $300,000 home, which is not a jumbo home. By the way, did I tell you I found out what the jumbo home is?
Yeah, it's something over $500,000 is considered jumbo.
Ron told me that. I would like to run him around central Indiana and show him some $500,000 homes and tell me if he thinks those are jumbo homes.
That may have been the case 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, He literally has just turned into a Mr. Burns-like character that is just totally out of step with anything going on with his fellow man, right? I mean, he's just so ridiculously rich that he has no idea what a regular person's going through. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, okay, so if you take a $300,000 home that's paying $3,000 in property taxes, they'll get a $300 credit. Under the plan, as presented right now, that home will still see roughly $120-ish, give or take, in property tax increases because they're capping what it can go up. So if you look at that cap, and it's all estimates right now because they don't know what their own bill says, much less us trying to figure it out, but I'm doing the best I can. That bill will still go up $120-ish
annually.
So you're getting the $300 deduction annually, but if the bill goes up $120 annually, 120 plus 120 plus 120. By year 3,
360.
So by year 3, you're still going to be paying more than the decrease that you were getting under this bill. Does that make sense?
Right. So that's really not a tax cut at all.
So by year 3, you'll be paying more than your decrease. You'll be paying higher local income tax. And you may now be subject to a referendum because your school corporation is not going to take this line down.
Correct.
So that's the plan. That was their plan to fix property taxes. That's what the smartest guy in the State House, Jeff Thompson, and this brilliant business guy, Mike Braun, came up with it. He's damn proud of this bill, Casey. He got all that hate.
He's proud and historic, Rob.
He got all that hate mail from you. This is what Braun thinks of you. He got all that hate mail from you guys yesterday. The phone calls, the emails, this show.
Yeah, the tagging online.
And he went to the state dinner last night, and he was chuckling, going, well, everybody's kind of mad about this bill. I guess I'm doing a pretty good job.
Right.
He thinks this is great.
He does. He's proud.
All right, so we do have one hope left, Casey, and the world is a weird place.
I can't even believe you're about to do this.
Our last hope, this is how politics is crazy. Our last hope may very well rest in the angry red-shirted teachers.
There's no way. What is going on?
Well, because the Senate still has to approve this. And as we played out yesterday, the Senate professed to be very concerned with the poor singing orphans of local government when they gutted Senate Bill 1.
Right.
And took all the property tax resets out because they were so concerned about the poor singing orphans of local government.
Correct.
And now the Senate will have to screw over the poor singing orphans of local government with these property tax resets, which they would never be complete and utter hypocrites and have just lied right to everybody's face.
No.
Well, it turns out Monday is the day that the angry red-shirted teachers are coming to the State House. And several people actually sent this to me. This is the Monroe County Community School Corporation. They're actually, their teachers are blowing off work. They're just abandoning the students.
Yeah.
This is how much, it's for the children, right?
Sure.
They're actually, I'm going to read you this letter that was sent out.
Okay.
Because they're angry red-shirted teachers from Monroe County Schools or whatever they're called. Monroe, let me make sure I get it right. I don't want people to be like, you got it wrong. Monroe County Community School Corporation. That's Bloomington, by the way. And I'm sure they're not just coming by themselves. I'm going to read you the letter, part of the letter, because it's a long, long letter. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But I'm going to read the letter. These are the teachers. They're abandoning the kids to come yell at the lawmakers. Boy, it's for the children, Case. How about that? All right, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
On Monday, April 14th, all MCCSC schools will move to independent, self-paced e-learning.
Okay.
Your kid's on, Junior's on his own, Case.
Right. You got to get some daycare just in case you have to work.
To allow educators and staff the opportunity to participate in the Indiana State Teachers Association Day of Action.
Day of Action.
At the State House. There will be no live instruction. Early Learning Centers South and North will be open and will operate as normal. Scroll down. While MCCSC acknowledges the disruption this may cause. You think? Hey, no school for Junior because we're going to go bitch at the lawmakers.
Yeah.
While MCCSC acknowledges the disruption this may cause for families, the urgency to advocate for public school funding has never been greater.
Yep.
Tens of millions of dollars are at stake.
Yep.
With the proposed legislation, including Senate Bill 1.
Oh, there it is.
If passed, this legislation could have devastating consequences for public education across Indiana.
There's no way those senators can tolerate this.
Baldwin and Holdman.
No,
and all these
they
guys.
can't pass this bill now.
You can't screw the children.
No,
So,
absolutely
Casey, our last hope rests in the angry red-shirted teachers who are abandoning their children. That is our last hope. That's how pathetic things have gotten.
Politics makes strange bedfellows, doesn't it? I'm curious, are these teachers all taking PTO days?
Boy, howdy, Case. It's a wild, though, great question.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's Beer Sample Friday. We're going to have some barguments. Are you guys ready to have some fun? It's been a long week. 93 WIBC.
For over 20 years, Howard Bailey Financial has been helping families just like yours gain clarity, confidence, and purpose with personal and practical financial strategies. And now, we're offering our full suite of services on Rangeline Road, right in the heart of Carmel, making it even easier to meet with our experienced team face-to-face. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating life transitions, or just need guidance for your financial future, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Text Carmel to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Now, your big ideas don't have to wait. They have everything they need to come to life because Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas. A technology that loves expanding your business and evolving your passion. We push what technology can do so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Big stories locally, big moves in Washington. WIBC.com keeps you updated throughout the day with all the news that matters, plus traffic, weather, and more on your phone, your laptop, wherever you are. It's news when you need it.
For someone who claimed to only be participating 25% because of the Masters going on, you're doing a really good job.
Hate's a heck of a drug, Casey.
Yeah?
Let me rephrase that. Hating politicians is a heck of a drug.
You're motivated by spite, huh? But you do have the Masters going on.
I do. So the rule will be in effect that I have every year, which is the weekend of the Masters. I will not be participating in anything political. If you the one guy got blocked that year. Remember the guy that kept incessantly messaging me? Like, it's very rare that I block people. You got to really try. But the weekend of the Masters, no politics. Gonna pound a bunch of brews and just watch basically 12 hours of golf each day.
Okay, so where are you at right now in this standings? You doing good?
Doing very good. My guys did great, which means they'll do horrible today. Oberg and DeChambeau and Lowry and all of them. Neiman and Mackelman and pretty good. All my guys are hanging around.
So I saw this article and I thought that I would quiz you. Have you ever wondered why the Masters is played in April?
Boy, that's a great question, Casey.
Do you know the answer?
I have a guess, but you tell me because I don't want to totally embarrass myself.
Okay, so the Masters is held in April to showcase Augusta's stunning springtime scenery.
I was going to say the azaleas.
That is incorrect.
Oh, it's wrong.
Not the azaleas, the dogwoods, and all the blooms. That's what people think. The actual reason is that the timing was strategically chosen to align with baseball's spring training schedule, not botany. So Bobby Jones, we got to do a little history here.
So Bobby Jones is one of the greatest golfers of all time. He was one of the sort of the original in this country, super high-profile American superstar as a golfer, built Augusta National Golf Club.
Yes, and after he completed golf's Grand Slam in 1930, he retired, and him and Clifford Roberts, they purchased land in Augusta, Georgia, and built the course between 1931 and 1932. In the 30s, of course, baseball was America's top sport, and sports writers were returning north after spring training in Florida, making them available to cover some other events. So Jones and Roberts, they hired this sports writer, and they convinced a bunch of other sports writers to make a stop in Augusta before MLB season began.
Yeah.
And the first Masters, which was then called Augusta National Invitation Tournament, was held in March in 1934, but they changed the date to April, and Sports Illustrated helped it along. Colored television helped the Masters become the visual beauty that it is recognized as today. However, it was because of baseball that the Masters is held in April.
What a cool little fun fact. We don't talk a lot of sports on this show. We do talk sports in the sense of how when it impacts society. And one of the things that the Masters does, unlike, by the way, golf has really perfected their calendar now because you have a big event, the four majors in every month, April through July. The Masters, the PGA, the U.S. Open, and the British Open. Their ability to keep their core audience engaged over a multi-month span, unlike the NFL is probably the only other sport that the core of the regular season has that much engagement amongst the hardcore fans.
Mm-hmm.
The Masters is special though because look, in our society, nostalgia is such a...
It's such a pull.
The pull, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. And that is true in your life, right? Like, you and I were talking about that song. What's the song where the guy just talks through the whole song?
Baz Luhrmann, and it's Don't Forget Sunscreen,
right.
Something like that.
There was this song. I was in high school, so this must have been late 90s this came out. And it was this incredible mega hit about, maybe you can look up and make sure we get the song name exactly right.
Yeah.
But it's just this guy, and he's talking. Now, there's music in the background, but he's talking, and he's offering all of this advice to the class of it was 1999. That's exactly what I came at, because it's offering advice to the class of 1999, which was a couple years ahead of when I graduated. But he's talking about how your life and the steps and the things that will happen in your life and advice on how to handle those things. And I heard that song a couple weeks ago. I was out in the yard, and it came on the player, and I hadn't heard it in a very, very long time. And I got like emotional listening to this song because I'd not heard it probably since, maybe my early 20s. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly how, this is perfect. Like, this is, every young person should be forced to hear this song today because it is still every bit as relevant. And one of the things he talks about is the pull. Pull's the perfect word, Casey. The pull, the nostalgia has on people. And you always think that things were better when you were younger. And in many cases, maybe they were, but it doesn't matter whether they actually were or not. The idea in your mind, because we all sort of yearn for the happiest moments of our lives. we all sort of spend the rest of our lives trying to recreate the happiest moments of our lives. And so, because for so many of us, it was when we were children, because you don't have any real responsibility when you're a kid. Even as a teenager, like maybe you work a job, you go to school, but that's it. There's no real bills to pay. There's no life-altering choices to be made. And so for Augusta, unlike any other tournament, the U.S. Open is great, and it's played at famous courses every year, but it's a different course every year. Augusta is nostalgia. These guys are hitting the same shots from the same locations that guys in the 1950s and 1960s were hitting, and everything is tracked. It tracks time. And it is, unlike any other sporting event in the world, except for maybe the Indy 500, it taps into nostalgia because you are seeing it at the same place with guys doing the same things that you saw when you were younger, and you remembered the world as a better place when you were younger. And it's like, for a moment in time, it's like Field of Dreams, where you're transplanted back to that moment in time.
So the song that you're referring to, it's by Baz Luhrmann, and it's called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen. And there is a line in the song. He says, "Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth."
That's amazing.
Yeah. So we've got Daniel Elliott, who's going to be joining us. He is the Indiana State treasurer.
Are you playing it? Oh, okay. Okay, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean...
Daniel Elliott joining us next.
Yeah, he's going to talk about how you're getting screwed. He's getting screwed. You're getting screwed. Everybody's getting screwed by the General Assembly.
You're not going to believe his story. He is worked up, and he's going to share it with us on the way. From 93 WIBC.
Got you there. I know you've been hurting, but
If you love spring and Indy but hate the paint, do what Lynn did. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came, and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time, we had the roof done as well.
Now, you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter, because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP 105,575. Nautilus MSRP 6195. Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia. So hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audion Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair. And they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health. And with over 1 million customers, Audion is easy to trust. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, why parents of a boy in Southport are upset. There was another tornado that hit Indiana Thursday night, and something else just opened at the Indianapolis International Airport. Those stories and more after Fox News on 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis, it's 10 o'clock.
Another attempt at a rebound on Wall Street. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but it's not nearly like Wednesday's surge that helped claw back some losses from a massive sell-off. The Dow is up 9 points, the Nasdaq gaining 62. Now, this morning, China once again retaliated in the trade war, raising its tariffs on American goods to 125%. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer tells Fox.
The Chinese reaction this morning is not terribly surprising, but certainly unfortunate.
The tariffs on Chinese imports, the U.S. is charging 120 or 145%, while the ones on other countries have been paused for negotiations.
The Chinese Commerce Ministry is now saying they think these tariffs have become a joke, but President Trump is basically saying that he thinks with trade deals imminent, the joke is on them.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House.
Trade deals typically take months or years each to negotiate. The president and his team are trying to get dozens done in several weeks, and President Trump will not rule out extending the 90-day pause if they need to.
The president just posted on Truth Social, we're doing really well on tariff policy, but Democrats are critical, warning of an economic slump triggered by inflation. But there's a second report for March showing declining inflation. Fox's Ginny Casola reports.
Inflation at the wholesale level cooled last month. Economists were expecting a small increase. The producer price index declined 0.4%.
The annual rate also dropped from 3.2% in February down to 2.4%, similar to declining consumer prices in yesterday's report. Now, 3 people are dead in Georgia after a gunman went hunting for co-workers early this morning.
Deputies in Newton County, Georgia, east of Atlanta, say an employee of a Walmart shot 2 fellow workers, killing one, then fled the scene only to break into a home to shoot and kill a third co-worker. The suspect again fled and made it as far as South Carolina before being stopped by police.
That's Fox's Eben Brown. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They confirmed that she brought a razor blade to school. Much of Indiana is under a freeze warning right now. Radar is clear. It's also partly cloudy and 39 on Monument Circle. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Police say a 12-year-old girl used that razor blade on a boy and cut his arm at Southport's 6th grade academy Thursday morning. The boy's mother says the girl did it on purpose and was also trying to cut another child's dreadlocks. The boy was released and got the medical care he needed, while Perry Township School says they're sorting through everything. A tornado hit southwestern Indiana on Thursday. Ryan Hedrick reports.
There's power lines there. There's power lines on the road.
Gibson County Sheriff Bruce Vanoven talking about the damage from an EF1 tornado in Princeton.
It took too long to get here because of looky-loos.
Forecaster Alan Deegan with the National Weather Service in Paducah, Kentucky.
Traveled for approximately 1.2 miles and then lifted at about 3:52 p.m.
And Deegan says thankfully nobody was injured. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A person on a motorcycle collides with someone else on a bicycle Thursday night on the south side of Indianapolis. The man on the bicycle later died. IMPD says the motorcyclist is recovering and they're trying to figure out what caused the crash. An amended property tax bill is one that uses faulty math from Indiana Governor Mike Braun. That's one of the statements made on the House floor Thursday by Democrat Ed Delaney.
And I'm thinking of our beloved Speaker, the beloved President Pro Tem, and our beloved Governor are like three school kids that the discussion was getting too heavy. The teacher was wearing them out. So they decided to just quit the effort, leave the teacher a small apple, and go home.
He voted against the bill, but it was still approved by the House. The Senate reviews it next week. As of today, the new 1933 Lounge and HC Tavern by St. Elmo's open now at the Indianapolis International Airport. It has a full-service dining and bar experience tailored for both quick layovers and pre-flight meals that they say the whole family can enjoy. I'm John Herrick, WIBC. I'm John Herrick on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. WIBC News Time is 10:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
Do you have an idea for a book, fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, great news.
Yeah? What's up, Rob?
We're not the only people getting screwed by the Indiana General Assembly.
Misery loves company, is that what you're saying?
Right. Yes. Okay, so this is super interesting. So, remember this has been about a month ago. We had our old pal Daniel Elliott, state treasurer, come on. And he's like, look, I got a solution for this property tax issue because we'd heard from the poor singing orphans of local government that they were going to lose all this money and it was going to be lights are going out in Mooresville.
Yeah.
That's going to be our new theme song, the night the lights went out in Mooresville. And Daniel Elliott, our pal, the state treasurer, came in and said, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
I think I got a solution for everybody in a way that these local governments can make a bunch of money. And it's called it's through in how they invest their money.
Right.
Because local governments, they get all this money and they have to put it somewhere. And Daniel oversees what's called the Trust Indiana plan as the treasurer for the state of Indiana. And he said, if we just change the way that local governments are allowed to invest their money and let it mirror how the state is allowed to invest its money, it can make a bunch of money for local governments, which could solve part of the revenue program.
Conquering hero, knight on a white horse. He's got the solution. So what's the problem?
Well, let's find out. Daniel Elliott, state treasurer, joins us now. Daniel Elliott, hello.
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like it went well.
Oh. I'm about to tell you guys.
Tell us the story.
We about the backroom deal. That literally takes Trust Indiana and Hoosier taxpayer dollars and gives it to the big banks and their lobbyists.
Whoa. So wait a second. Wait. Let's reset everything for a moment because people are like, what is going on here? So tell us just very high level, what is Trust Indiana?
So Trust Indiana is an investment, called a local government investment pool program.
Okay.
And what that does is that allows local governments, clerk treasurers, really good people. Usually, somebody who says, hey, I want to, I got some good, I'm good at the books. I'm going to try to run for local office. These are just regular folks, good people. They're like, look, I want to do this. I want to help my community. But, I'm also not an investment advisor, but I'm also the treasurer.
Sure.
Because let's be honest, an investment advisor is going to make millions of dollars. They're not going to go be the clerk treasurer in Morgantown.
Yeah.
So what we do is we say, look, hey, we as a state, we have professionals that do this. We know how to do this. shoot, guys, I just made $1 billion in the last 2 years for the state of Indiana, which has never been done before.
Wow, I made $1 billion as a taxpayer.
Yeah, well.
How am I not getting any tax relief?
But remember, now they're nervous because I did that.
Yeah.
So anyway, what Trust Indiana says is, we're going to do this for you.
Yeah.
We're going to help you raise revenue without raising taxes. Model concept from a conservative, huh?
So basically what Trust Indiana says is, hey, look, local government people, you're not investment professionals. We don't want you going with people who don't have your best interest at heart. We will do this for you in a way that makes you the most amount of money possible.
Exactly. And you know how much money my office makes off of Trust Indiana?
How much?
0.
Oh.
So this is
no commission.
literally a service for the people of the state of Indiana.
Okay, so what you had said last time when you were here is you said there are all these restrictions on how local governments are allowed to invest their money.
Yep.
Primarily, they can't invest it was outside the county where they live, where the entity is, correct?
Well, that's one way. But the thing with regards to Trust Indiana is half of all money from this local government investment pool has to be put in banks.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Is it a law?
Yes.
Oh.
That was what I was trying to change. Let me ask you a question.
And banks oftentimes don't give, real quick, I'm going to catch up, but banks oftentimes don't give the best returns.
They do not.
Okay.
They don't give the best interest rates.
Yeah.
So you want to have some in banks, that's in CDs, that's just normal.
Uh-huh.
But you don't want to have half.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You know, no banker who is investing his money does that.
Right.
So anyway, my goal, I came on your program, was say, look, if we could remove this restriction,
sure,
then this can help local government. This frees up Trust Indiana so local governments can make more money without raising taxes.
And this is exactly how you do money. You invest money for the state. What you're simply saying to the legislature is, I've proven to you as the state treasurer, I invest the state's money. Look at what I was able to do with not having these restrictions. Let's let our local governments have the same lack of restrictions that the state has.
Exactly.
Very good.
In fact, I have this thing called, here's the thing. Some of these folks.
He's so angry, and I've never seen him actually angry.
Oh,
well, one time on the phone he got angry with me, but I've never seen him angry in person.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
These folks thought, this conservative cowboy from Martinsville, he ain't going to know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what they're shocked by is, in 2 years, he made more money than we made in 10 years combined. Somehow this conservative wasn't out there blowing things up. He was actually putting his head down, getting work done. They're mad about that.
Okay, so you went to the General Assembly. You said you have this major issue with property taxes. The locals are mad about losing revenue. Here's the way they can get a lot of this revenue back with doing nothing other than investing their money.
Exactly.
It costs nobody anything.
The same way the state does.
Right, exactly.
Same way.
And they no doubt said, great, Daniel, where do we sign off on this?
Actually, a lot did.
Okay.
Believe it or not, a lot did.
Good.
Many of them did.
So it's a law
and
now, right? So it's a law. They changed the law.
Hold on.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, this is the problem. See, now
There's always a problem.
I'm trying to get work done, and I'm trying to do it the right way.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to make people mad here, but I don't care.
That's great. Welcome to the show.
That's what we do.
Come to the right
I'm
place.
not doing economic development trips to India.
Yeah! There we go.
And you know what? My truck is literally the reject from the INDOT pool.
Yeah!
I'm working, getting things done, working behind the scenes, working with legislators to make things happen. That's the right way to do it.
Are they not letting you do this?
And they were. Everyone's like, I've had people say, Daniel, you've got the moral high ground. This is the right thing to do.
Sure. Sounds great.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I thought it was doing great. And I recognize, I'm not naive. I recognize sometimes these bills take a couple years to get through.
Sure.
I understand that. I was working through the process.
Or sometimes they ram them down really quick. But
That's
go
true.
ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, well, don't bury the story here. I'm almost started. That's what happened.
By the way, the voice you're hearing is State Treasurer Daniel Elliott. He's telling us about this fabulous plan he had to solve the property tax crisis, changing the way local governments are allowed to invest their money. It seemed to be breezing through. It was a win for everybody. And now I feel like you're about to tell me it didn't go as planned.
So I'm working. Finally, I have one senator. He's kind of the expert.
Sure.
Happens to be a banker.
Uh-huh.
And we're going through and we're talking through all these different things that we're going to do and how we could do this.
Sure.
And we're negotiating. I get it. I'm an entrepreneur.
Sure.
I get, I may only get half a loaf, but hey, I'm going to take half the loaf.
Absolutely.
So I'm okay with that.
Right.
And then bomb gets dropped.
Uh-oh.
He says, hey, Daniel. And this is he calls me as he's on the way to the airport.
Sure. Leaving town.
Is he going to India? Daniel, I'm not going to be able to do what we talked about.
Oh,
and by the way, we're going to put even more restrictions on how you can invest local government dollars.
Wait. So not only is he saying we're not going to do your plan, which would solve the property tax crisis, he's saying we're going to make it harder to do the way make it harder for the way local governments invest their money.
Make it harder for for local governments to raise money, so they will raise less returns.
Okay, so one might think, because you said this guy's a banker, is this Holdman? Is this Travis Holdman?
I'm not saying.
It sounds like, because isn't he a banker? He's a banker guy, right?
You know what? You're right. He is.
That's right. So Travis
sounds like maybe it is.
So Travis Holdman is the guy.
Blink twice.
He's blinking twice. So it is Travis Holdman. Okay, so people remember Travis Holdman was the head of the tax committee that gutted Senate Bill 1 to screw you, the taxpayer, because they were so concerned about See, this is where everybody goes, what's going on? So he was so concerned about local government and lost revenue that he voted to screw you in Senate Bill 1.
Correct.
With your property taxes. You come to him and go, hey, I got a way, Travis, we can make everybody whole, and you don't have to do anything other than let's change the way that we invest the money. But it would have hurt banks in the sense of it would have opened up competition. And because he's a banker and the banking lobby is so powerful, he said, no, we're not doing that.
Rob, I'm not done yet.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm accurate, right? Like I'm
100% accurate.
Yeah, okay, very good.
Now, then he says, and by the way, we're going to put a board over you, the treasurer.
Oh.
To direct how you manage these funds.
Oh.
What he didn't tell me until I found out last night or yesterday morning when the bill dropped is who the makeup of the board is.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look. Is he on the board?
He's not on the board, but the bankers are.
Oh, the bankers.
Wow.
So the bankers are going to direct the treasurer on where he should invest money for local governments.
That doesn't sound right.
So let's recap everything what we just talked about here. And by the way, he's putting this in the budget, right?
And that's the thing about it. He put it in the budget, and here's why. Remember when I said backroom deal?
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating. Because the whole time I'm working, trying to say, let's get a deal going. Let's work something. People are liking what we're saying. We're negotiating. I'm trying to find compromise. At the end of the day, when this started in December, I heard that the banking lobby was going to try to put more restrictions on Trust Indiana.
Yeah. Because they want more power. They want more control. They want more money.
Because what they want to do is they want to limit competition. They want to take taxpayer dollars away from local governments and put it with bankers and their shareholders.
And he put it in the budget. He being Travis Holdman put it in the budget because he knows they have to pass a budget.
They have to pass a budget.
It wouldn't pass on its own.
I will tell you, the Senate Appropriation Chair, Ryan Mishler, good guy, always been upfront with me. He's going to say, Daniel, I'm not going to do it. I don't like it. He's always been, this is what's going to happen. That's fair. I be honest with me. Tell me when you think my idea is good. Tell me when you think it's stupid.
Yeah.
And he's got no problem telling me if I do something stupid.
Right.
But when I asked him about this, he says, look, I got to pass a budget. And he's wrong. He's not wrong. You got to pass the budget. You can't not pass the Indiana budget.
Okay, so let me recap because we're running short on time here. I want to make sure I recap everything of what you described. So I'm going to try to do this in about 1 minute. I'm a trained professional, so let's see if I hit this here. You, Daniel Elliott, have a program that you're using to invest money for the state. It's working great. You're exceeding all expectations. You go to the General Assembly and say, you have this major problem with property taxes. You're concerned about local governments losing money. Here is a way of what I'm doing with proven results that if we just allow the local governments to do it, they will make a bunch more money, which will solve your issue, which will allow you to cut property taxes for people and eliminate a lot of their lost revenue, which solves everybody's problem. Mm-hmm. Most of the senators and the legislators are on board with this. But one guy, Travis Holdman, who is a banker, who's in the banking business, he goes, nah, we're not doing that because that's going to hurt the banking industry, which I'm a part of, and I'm not going to screw myself and my buddies. So I'm going to not only not allow this to happen after I already gutted the bill that would have saved people a bunch of property tax money because I claim to be really concerned about the local governments. Not only am I not going to do that, I'm not going to make it harder for you to do your job with proven results and put my banking buddies in charge of what goes on.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah. Wow.
Welcome to government.
Wow.
And here's the thing. See, everybody, and this is where I get upset.
Mm-hmm.
The banking lobby, they're so used to throwing money around. And they, when I first got elected, not for the convention, but in the general, they threw some money at me, and then they wanted me to shut up.
Yeah.
They thought that, okay, you know what?
I did that to Casey when she first started
We'll pay
here.
him. We'll pay him.
Yeah, and they thought, you know what? We're gonna make sure he toes the line. And the problem is, I won't.
Yeah. So is there anything to be done now, or is
clearly
it?
on the Kendall Casey
I'm
show.
fighting on this. So,
okay.
So it ain't over till the fat lady sings.
Yeah, we love
it. And right now there's a lot of things that have to go on through conference committee and other things.
Yeah.
I am working behind the scenes, working hard, but I'm also not going to sit still in my office and hope and pray that these guys do it the right way.
We got about 1 minute left. I have a question for you, because Casey and I are going through this right now. How does it feel to be led along and lied to for months and then get screwed right at the last minute? How does that feel?
You know what?
You don't like it, do you?
You know what? It's not that I don't like it. It's that people forget something. Look, I started going to church, and I learned how to try to follow Christ. I don't do the best job, but I try. And I went to college. I learned how to speak well. But I'm still the son of a redneck. So I've had people doing this to me my whole freaking life.
Yeah.
And guess what? The problem with when you push a son of a redneck down, he comes up back up swinging.
I love it.
What can we do to help you or our listeners?
Make sure local government folks, citizens, everybody's reaching out to our legislators saying, look, we cannot put the wolves in charge of the sheep.
Yeah, very good. All right, Daniel Elliott, let us know how we can help. We're here. You're the best. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The agenda is taking shape.
Since Inauguration Day.
From education to energy.
We will drill, baby, drill.
From the economy to the military.
We will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen.
Watch it unfold day by day.
My first day back.
First 100 days.
It's a tough job, but I've had a lot of tough jobs.
Follow the first 100 days on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
There is a massive lawsuit involving the #1 school system in the state of Indiana. We got to talk about this for a second.
Lawsuit filed by Snap, Dr. Snap.
Yeah, so statistically, the Brownsburg school system, in terms of testing data, is the #1 school system in the state of Indiana. Now, we've laid this out, right? Like, this is how ridiculous, how poor public education is in this state. If you gave them a letter grade based on their own grading scale, they'd be a D.
Mm-hmm. But they're #1.
They're #1. 60-some% or whatever passing. And they send out, the press like, we're number one. Oh, man, what'd you get, like 98%? Now, like 60, whatever.
Right.
And there was only, this is also a total indictment on public education, like 5 or 6 schools that were above what would be a passing grade.
Mm-hmm.
Every other school system by their own standard, like, we're number 8, and you're at like 58%. Like, that was an F. But statistically, it's like I can't use that analogy. Anyway, they're number one, and this school system has been embroiled in so much drama the past 2 years, 3 years. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, but publicly, and it all sort of dates back to that very high-profile case, which I think is still ongoing, in which the
special needs student,
was forced to eat his own vomit. Like, it's not in dispute what happened. It's on camera. The people are being prosecuted. This kid was forced to eat his own vomit. And we kind of said at the time, I find it very hard to believe that something like that could happen, because there was a huge window from when it happened to when the shoe dropped and it became public, that nobody knew about this. And so who knew what when? The attorneys had kind of said the same thing. We need to get them back on the show. I'll reach back out to them and find out what's going on with that. And obviously he's got the student has a couple of bulldogs in terms of his attorneys who are great. And it sort of seemed then at that time like things started to change in this school system. And so then, whatever it was, a year later or a short time later, it ends up the superintendent, who has been there 13 years. Oh, he's the best. He's great. We're the number one school system. All these press releases. Hey, he's out of here. They refused to renew his contract.
Right.
And then that was a big thing at a public meeting, and people were coming in support of him, and the board's like, we're not renewing his contract. And then, I don't know, a couple weeks later or whatever it was, he's out of there.
Right.
He takes a buyout or a settlement agreement, which was announced, which was basically like his vacation days and some insurance, but he was owed all this money under his other agreement. And you're like, why would you turn down hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because they didn't fire you initially. They were just not renewing your contract, and there were still a couple of years left on the contract. None of this made any sense. Of course, it's the classic government thing where everything's done behind closed doors.
Right, very hush-hush.
And you have no idea. And so now Dr. Jim Snap, who was the former superintendent at Brownsburg Schools, has filed this massive lawsuit in Hendricks County against the Brownsburg Community School Corporation, the Brownsburg Community School Corporation Board of Trustees, so the school board, alleging, amongst other things, count 1, breach of contract, count 2, abuse of process, count 3, fraudulent inducement, count 4, violation of due process and breach of employment contract, and count 5, defamation.
Yeah, exactly. And he's also claiming loss of current and future business contracts and other damages because of the school board's actions.
Well, and then what's super weird about this is, I don't know if he was still the superintendent or if it was after he had left, some report came out in the Indy Star, the State Board of Accounts was looking into some sort of impropriety, allegedly, involving him or the school system. It wasn't super clear. Then that all just went away, and that's really mentioned in this lawsuit, that basically saying the school system made that up and fed that to the Indy Star to make me look bad, to have leverage over me, to try to negotiate me out. And so here's what I know, Casey. This is supposedly the number one school system. You got kids being forced to eat their own vomit. You've got, this is a complete crap show behind the scenes. This superintendent who publicly they're saying, he's the best, he's great, everyone loves him, our school's the best.
But here's the door.
Yeah, and here's what's going on behind the scenes. This is the best. Think about what the other ones are like.
Right. If this is the best, what does the worst look like? Well, the entire trial will be interesting because they'll go through a discovery process. And that
I want to buy a ticket. Can you buy a ticket to Discovery?
It's all going to be out there.
Can I buy a ticket to go to this? Can I? I can't. I am so enthralled by this. Is it wrong that I'm fascinated by this?
Well, you want to know the answers. It's your desire to seek truth. Right?
I feel like this has the potential, if they go through this discovery, because think about what they've got on him. Think about what he's got on them. And think about the veil that could potentially be pulled back on public education in this state. Like, I am fascinated by this. I cannot imagine this is actually going to go that far. But right now, it appears it is.
You'll think they'll offer him a big sum of money?
Well, I don't know.
Just to make it go away.
Maybe that's what he's hoping for.
Yeah, that could be. Well, because he's saying that the termination process was not the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah, look,
so he's owed money.
I'm not a person of the law, but whether you live in Brownsburg or not, you should have a vested interest in this. And I'm not saying every school system goes through stuff like this, but think about what goes on behind closed doors. You have no idea any of this was happening, and the public perception they were putting out was, we're spotless. We're as pure as the wind-driven snow over here. Look at all we do for the kids, and look at how great we are. And look at just what a dumpster fire. I mean, if this were a private company, there's no way they would have stayed in business, right? With this sort of stuff going on.
No.
But anyway, I'm fascinated about this. I'm here for it all. Sign me up for the show, baby.
We've got some voicemails coming up. A lot of complaints about the property tax discussion. It's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
'93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Violence at a school. 41 degrees and partly cloudy in the Circle City, but it feels like 33. A freeze warning is in effect. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Police say a 12-year-old girl stabbed a boy with a razor blade at Southport 6th Grade Academy Thursday morning, resulting in him getting stitches. Perry Township Schools Police reported the incident to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. The boy is recovering, and the school district says actions have consequences, but they did not want to give any other specific details. Thankful is how this woman feels.
I never felt more blessed to be American, and I'm so happy to get home.
That's Russian-American amateur ballerina Ksenia Karolina. After she landed at Joint Base Andrews late Thursday night, Karolina was in Russia to visit relatives, but ended up arrested last year for treason because the Russian government said she donated about $50 to a charity supporting Ukraine. They're already members of the family, and today is the day to celebrate them. It is National Pet Day, where you are encouraged to celebrate the joy and companionship that animals bring. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hey, guys, it's Rob for my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. Now, maybe you're like me and you're losing some of your hair this week watching your guys underperform at the Masters. If that's you, maybe you need to call my friends at We Grow Hair Indy. 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Here's how it works. I made this call 4.5 years ago now, and every time I look in the mirror, so glad I did. Casey's always like, stop wearing your hat, Rob. Your hair is so beautiful. Everyone needs to see it. And Darren and the gang, they're top class, top rate guys. They'll take a look at what you got going on top of your head, give you some suggestions on how to get your confidence back, and then you make the choice. In the meantime, if you'd like to see some other folks who were at We Grow Hair Indy, got their confidence back, you can head over to WeGrowHairIndy.com. WeGrowHairIndy.com, 317-522-2995. 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If your loved one has stopped seeing friends because hearing loss prevents the use of the telephone, please help them by visiting RelayIndiana.com. RelayIndiana.com provides captioned telephones that allow the hard of hearing to have phone conversations through voice recognition technology. The other person's words appear on an easy-to-read screen. Help your loved one stay in touch with their family and friends by getting them the captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Learn more at RelayIndiana.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
Is he still talking?
He is still talking.
4% year over year, which means those who have seen an assessed value increase.
Okay, pause. So I guess Mike has finally put out some sort of, it's a car video.
Yeah, he's sitting in his car.
I don't see it on any of his like Twitter or anything else.
No, it's on Facebook.
Where he's talking in his car about SB1.
Mm-hmm.
You're 5 minutes into the thing.
He's still going.
And there's no, what am I doing? We know what they're doing, Micah. And now maybe he says, maybe there's some big
I haven't gotten
How
to
long
it
is
yet.
the video?
I don't know. There's no timestamp on it, so
we don't know yet. You got to keep watching. Maybe by the top of next hour we'll know where he's at.
I'm watching. I'm trying to. Yeah. We'll get to it. So, I mean, we've been saying, where is the lieutenant governor on all of this? And
he's in his car.
He's in his car.
Now, is that the Tahoe?
I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. But
yeah, simply hitting play is not going to tell you, Casey.
No. Well, I was wondering if I just watched it, if I could tell what vehicle he was in, and I can't. He's wearing a seatbelt though, which is nice.
That's very good.
But he did put something out.
Yes.
So
we'll try to get to the bottom of it.
We'll consume it and we'll pass that information.
Do we have voicemails?
Yes, we do.
I just feel like we're living in some sort of bizarro world.
Yeah, we are, because you're cheering for the red shirted T-shirts on Monday to do something about SB1, and that is what all of our voicemails are about today. And here is this first one in opposition to SB1.
Yes, this is in reference to property taxes, of course. We got these clowns up there, representatives. They all need to be fired, first of all. But I will say this: if anybody wants to call Governor Brown, I did call and actually spoke to someone, which is amazing, and voiced my concerns. I would highly suggest everybody call everybody and their grandma to oppose this thing. I mean, I hope Governor Brown has a sense about himself that he will veto anything like this and kill it in his tracks based off of income taxes being raised and property taxes, quite honestly, even at that $200 and other thing, it ruins everything. I would rather deal with what we got than deal with some stupid new plan that these idiots have so many loopholes to screw us.
Well, that's not going to happen. It looks like Governor Braun is ready to sign this. I mean, he said that he wants the Senate to send it to his desk for a signature next week.
Yeah, I mean, they should put You ever seen the show American Greed?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great series on, I think it's CNBC, and it's about great con men throughout history. And they should have an episode of Mike Braun hoodwinking the taxpayers of Indiana on this property tax deal, because it is one of the great con jobs in history. He was yucking it up last night at the state dinner. Everybody's pissed off. Guess I've done a pretty good job. I mean, you want to talk about a guy from 3 or 4 weeks ago or whatever that was, where he's rolling up his sleeves. Hey, I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm a fighter.
Yeah, it's
Here's another phone call. This person wants Governor Braun to come on this program.
Hey, good morning, Rob. Morning, Casey. Hey, Braun needs to come back on your show. He needs to explain himself of why he's doing a 180. All these things that he promised us that he was going to do, and especially the one that he didn't do, was roll back property taxes back to 2021. No, he is not going to do that.
Oh, Braun will never come on the show ever again.
You don't think so?
Oh, no. He doesn't know what he's doing. He put out a press release saying, I'm having my staff go line by line through a bill.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea what this bill says or what it does, and he knows he would get crushed. The governor is never going to expose himself to be mortally embarrassed on the most powerful media outlet in the state. No, he's like we're all going to go our separate ways, and the order has been restored.
Did we break up? Is it official? We broke up.
We were being used, right? And the order has been restored, and I'm going to be back to being public enemy number one for the state Republican Party. It's fine. It's whatever. Like you
Rob's
used us.
looking for a rebound relationship.
Like he has no interest in a better plan. He has no interest in vetoing this. He lied to all of us. And
he put out new language saying the plan to cut, cap, and reform means relief now and changes in the future. So here's another phone call. This one about assessed values.
Hey, good morning, Rob. Good morning, Casey. Hey, I am pissed off at Ron. I just got my tax assessment in, and pre-pandemic, I bought my house for $190,000. It now assesses today for $308,000, which is absurd. My tax rate went up another 19.5% for the year. Ron lied to us. He's not going to do anything, and I'm surprised he hasn't been on your show. It seems like he'll go on the other radio show, but he won't come back on yours for some reason. He needs to get out in front of this. And Micah Beckwith, I haven't heard or seen anything from him, and I think it's because Braun has put a muzzle on him, and, he's not letting him talk about it. So, man, something's got to be done.
So our boss, Matt Hibbelin, asked me an interesting question. We were back there shooting the breeze, and he said, what would you have accepted?
Oh.
And would you like me to talk about what I would have accepted? I would have accepted a better deal than this, that I didn't need the full Monty. I didn't need the full bill reset. But 10% with a $300 cap is negligible.
Yeah.
When bills have gone up $1,000 or more.
Mm-hmm.
But I might have accepted 20% with safeguards that prevent local governments from raising income taxes. If there were safeguards, I would have read the bill line by line before I agreed to sign off on it, that prevented local governments from raising taxes, with this huge caveat, with a clear blueprint and plan, year by year, with buy-in from the leadership of the General Assembly on how we are going to permanently reform and fix not just property taxes, which is to eliminate them, but local government. Local government is a disease. It is a disease. I went to a meeting last night, Casey, where they formed a tax increment finance district, and multiple times the town board was asked, all I want to know is, so these tax increment finance districts cut off revenue to the other entities, right? Like all the tax money will stay in there. And this is where like the taxpayer-funded hotels and these amusement parks that they build, that's how they do this, right? They cut off all the revenue to the entities, they keep it all, and they start building bright, shiny objects. And I said, look, all I want to know is,
what's the project what's the public infrastructure project that requires that money to stay in there that's so big and so great that we have to have it in there? And what are the businesses that you are targeting to go in there that are going to pay for that? You know what they said to both of them?
Don't know.
This is the level of stupid we are dealing with. And yet in this bill, there's zero reform for this. You have townships, by their own admission, setting on $700 million in savings. And yet nothing is happening to them in this bill. They admitted in this hearing what fire territories are doing to taxpayers. Nothing happens to them. And the governor didn't come out with any plan on how he's going to reform local government. I would have accepted something less with a clear vision, as Mitch Daniels did all those years ago, with here's where we're going, here's what we're going to do, and here is year by year how this is going to get better with buy-in from the General Assembly. You get none of that.
Well, he did try to put that language out there after the fact of the cut, cap, and reform, but you don't know what that reform is.
He doesn't either, Casey.
Because it's making it up as they go.
Mike Braun's whole legislative life when he was in the General Assembly was about path of least resistance. What did he do? He voted for the largest tax increase in the history of the state. That was what he did. That was his signature issue as a legislator. That's it. It's what he does. He doesn't know what he's doing. And again, I own this. On me. Put it on me. Because I cared about you, our audience, so much. And I wanted this issue fixed so much that I said, I will take a leap of faith that we've, through sheer will, cult of personality, whatever, get behind this guy with Micah. And if we can get these guys in there and they're saying the right stuff, I'll do whatever I can in my power to try to help you people to make this happen. It has been miserable doing this. Casey will back me up on this. The past 5 or 6 months has been miserable for me because this is not my instinct. My instinct is to burn it all down because I know what these people are. But and in hindsight, it didn't work because they are what they are. It's like Homer Simpson once said, I guess some people never change or quickly change and then quickly change right back.
Yep.
And Braun is doing what he's always done. And I tried, and if you want to say I failed, fine. But I tried harder than anybody ever tried to fix this because I love you guys. And I'm so heartbroken about the way Braun lied to us. And now that he's out thinking it's some sort of fun and games, well, everybody's mad at me, so I guess I did a pretty good job. And I'm disappointed in Micah. I don't know. He put a video out today. We're 5 minutes in. We don't know what his opinion is on it. 2 days later. I'm disappointed in everybody. Because we did what everybody says we don't ever do, which is, oh, Rob, you're just too negative with these guys. Maybe if you were just nicer to them. Well, hard to be any nicer than I've been the past 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Where'd that get me?
Didn't get you anywhere, did
The
it?
exact same place.
Yeah. Do you want to go to a break?
Yeah, Hammer's next.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
It's Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's Beer Sample Friday. We're going to have some barguments. Are you guys ready to have some fun? It's been a long week. 93 WIBC.
Spring is here, and it's time to shake off winter's dust, dirt, and allergens. Hi, this is Denny Smith for Zero Res, and if you're ready for a true spring clean, listen up, because this deal won't last. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and $75 off air duct cleaning. That's real savings and the perfect way to refresh your home. Winter leaves behind grime and odors and allergens trapped in your carpets and air ducts. And remember, your air ducts are the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, so is your air. Zero Res's patented ZR water cleans with no soap, no residue, and no harsh chemicals. Just fresh, healthy carpets and air. Beat the spring cleaning rush. Call 317-388-5141 or book online at ZeroResIndy.com. And don't take my word for it. Just check out 4,900 5-star Google reviews. Call now. Mention WIBC. Get 3 rooms cleaned starting at just $119 plus $75 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141 or ZeroResIndy.com.
Hey guys, spring selling season is here. Rates are down, activity is up. Now is the best time in years to sell your home. However, some homes are sitting on the market. Hiring an expert who can maximize equity and minimize hassle is the key. That expert is the agent I recommend, Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market, you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what David in Martinsville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We bought our dream property and had to sell our old place with land by the end of the year to avoid a big tax hit. We had an agent friend who gave us no activity for months. Worried, we turned to Mark Dietel to save us. Mark's team took over, marketed our property like pros, and got our property sold in plenty of time. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Have you seen the color at Sundown Gardens? The greenhouse is bursting with an incredible selection of great tropical plants. Mandevillas, ferns, palms, and more, all in stock now at Sundown. There's just so much going on around the garden center, nursery, and greenhouse. You have to stop in and see it all for yourself. This week, they also have 50% off all Easter decor in Miss Mary's gift shop. Visit Sundown Gardens for all things spring. Sundown Gardens is located on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
If you're pressed for time, the WIBC Mashup Podcast is your shortcut to the smartest, sharpest, and strangest moments on air. It's the best content from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Updated daily. Find the WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
I know this is a total generational thing. I grew up with MC Hammer using this hook and Can't Touch This, right? To most people, a little bit older than myself, it's Rick James' Super Freak, which I like both songs, don't get it twisted. But when your last name's Hammer and you grow up in the heyday of Hammer time, it just kind of resonates.
You have any parachute pants?
No, I don't. I still wear basketball-y style breakaway loungy pants, like that.
But at no point you didn't have the big parachute pants?
No. Had some Zubaz pants at one point. Yeah. I went full Buttafuoco for a little while. And various phases in my life, the hairstyle, we went from razor lines in the hair, had a rat tail at one point.
Yeah, very good.
Long.
Still can't compete with my old man, though. One of the great afros of all time.
Steve Hammer?
Yeah. Did you ever see the dad afro picture?
No.
Oh, Rob.
I want to see that.
Rob. I posted this on social media on his birthday.
Because wait a second. Don't you think, is it estimated you were conceived in the blizzard of 74? Or it says 78?
Yeah, it was around that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your parents got stuck inside and then...
we know how they passed the time. Yeah.
Right? And then you came along.
Okay, here, I'm going to show you this picture. This is a photo of myself, young me, on my dad's lap, my grandpa, Papaw Hammer, and then next to him, my great-grandfather, who's got one of the great names of all time, Jack Hammer. True story.
Oh, my goodness.
Would you owe... It's like Fletch.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
If you want, you can show it up to the camera. I don't know if it'll pick it up. Yeah.
All right.
So that's all the Hammer men right there prior to my children being born.
That should have its own zip code.
Yeah. What the afro should. Oh, wow.
It's like
that's
Oscar
a lot
Gamber,
of hair.
Darnell Hillman, all combined into one. Fletch, it's all combined into one.
It's almost like I can smell the cigarette smoke and the wood paneling on the wall. Yeah.
Right?
That's good stuff.
You done crying? You done crying
I'm
today,
getting it out
Rob?
of my system. I mean,
You crying, boy? You crying?
The angry red-shirted teachers are coming Monday. They're our last chance to kill this bill. So I'm teaming up.
Hold on.
I
This
know.
is like a
It's a
WWE
bizarro
storyline. Like you tried to go babyface for a little while and be like the crowd favorite, and that didn't go over.
Yeah.
The writers and producers came back to you and said, "We need heel Rob back, but we're gonna make you be tag team partners with the angry red-shirted teachers."
I know.
WrestleMania is next weekend. It feels like this is a storyline.
I mean, seriously, you couldn't make this up. That the angry red-shirted teachers bombarding the State House on Monday are our only chance to kill this crappy property tax bill.
Can you imagine if they all show up with "I love Rob Kendall" T-shirts?
I was tempted. I gotta find out what time they're gonna be there. I was tempted to wear the red "I hate Rob Kendall" shirt or red for Rob shirt and just go over there and hang out with them and chant with them.
See if you just blend in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go chant with them.
Right.
What are we chanting about today? Nazis! Who's a Nazi? Who is it? Who are we calling a Nazi today? Because I know if you people go more than 5 minutes without calling somebody a Nazi, your head spins around like Beetlejuice. Who are we yelling at?
Look, I am amazed. I mean, I said this earlier. I said, this is like, how does a guy go from rolling up his sleeves and being at that rally to this? I'm just at a loss for words.
So listen, I know Micah Beckwith is the lieutenant governor.
Mm-hmm.
He's normally a guest on your program.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is step on anybody's toes. If I can get him on the program today, would you be okay with that?
Totally go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be
Get 'em on.
like some people and just hijack things and steal
Like
it.
some
and
people.
own it for themselves. No, I wanted to ask and do the right thing.
Go for it. He's put some video out. It's like he's doing a live version of a Dickens novel. They're like, we're 5 minutes in and we don't know what his opinion is.
So the time has to work for us though, because if he says, "Well, I could do 3:30," no, we're doing barguments at 3:30.
Yeah.
So we can do 4. Or
Well,
we
let's
can
be
do
honest,
5.
on a Friday, that's more important.
He's always willing to go anywhere a microphone is. So if he doesn't work around your schedule, you're going to know something's up.
We're number one. You're number one. So hey, we've got the audience here. Let's go.
Everybody has a right to feel betrayed by these people, don't they? I mean, our audience has a right to feel betrayed by Braun, Micah, all this, right?
Is Micah feeling betrayed? Like, I don't know. Maybe he feels betrayed. I don't know. Like, I haven't heard from him. So
what betrayed that he got a $200,000 job and a $90,000 Tahoe out of it? I mean, who betrayed him?
But I mean, does the lieutenant governor really have that much pull? I know he was the property tax guy. This was his thing. And I feel like he's probably upset about this whole thing, but he's been somewhat quiet on this situation. So we'd love to have him on to see how he feels.
Well, right. This is what's frustrating is you ran on this. And Braun ran on this, right? I mean, ultimately, the buck rests at Braun. That Braun is the guy who lied to everyone because he's the policy guy. But Micah ran on this. And the idea that we have gone now 2 days without you making a sound about this. And by the way, it's just on, I understand it's just on his Facebook page. It's not on Twitter. There's no formal statement. You got to, sift through it. It just, I feel, and our audience feels, really used because we invested in these people. We were willing to take the leap again.
That's what my audience has said too. We feel used and we feel silly and stupid now.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are saying never again. They took a day off of work. They sacrificed a PTO day they could have used with their family to try to support somebody they believed in. And now it feels like because of the House Speaker and the Senate Pro Tem, apparently they're the two most powerful people in the state of Indiana, and nobody wants to cross them. It's like the mafia. It's like the Sopranos down there.
Yeah, and then, we lay out this. We had Daniel, state treasurer, on who said, hey, I've come up with a way to solve all this. We'll figure out a new way for local governments to be able to invest their money, to make a bunch more money, the way I've done it with the state. They'll get all this property tax, this money coming in that they're going to lose with property taxes. You can cut the taxes, we'll do this. And then this Holdman guy who killed his own bill, which I've never seen before, Senate Bill 1, he then goes, no, I'm not going to do that because my banking buddies who I make money off of, that I'm not going to allow that to happen because they'll be mad. So, like, what are we doing here?
Where's this general fund that I keep putting my gambling money into? Where's this general fund? Where's this surplus that I've heard so much about my whole life?
It's generally getting wasted on other stuff.
Okay, fantastic.
What's coming up this afternoon?
Maybe the lieutenant governor. We're trying to lock down the time. If we get that, it's going to be awesome. It's Beer Sample Friday. We're going to do some barguments. We are going to have fun.
Thank you, Hammer. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
Why'd I go to the doctor?
One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Easter season is upon us. Yes, it's a week from Sunday. And this Easter season, if you're looking for a new church home or first church home, consider the place we call home, Life Church. You know, we've met so many great people at Life Church over the years. They treat everybody like family. It's a sense of community there. So if you're feeling called to something different, something new, check out Life Church. They make it super easy for you. 4 campuses across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Great online services. Learn more about everything on the web, lifechurchin.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what recently happened at a school in Indianapolis that made the police get involved. An Indiana congressman breaks down some issues with China, and what Purdue University says they're doing to help farmers. Those stories and more after Fox News Radio. You are listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Yet another trade war escalation. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. China today boosted its tariff on American products to 125%, retaliating to the 145% U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer tells Fox, despite that,
I think the economic fundamentals of our country are still very, very good.
A report this morning shows wholesale inflation declined last month. The day after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the government must work to facilitate the return of a deported legal resident. There's a hearing in Maryland. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was sent to a jail in El Salvador last month, and while the Trump administration admits a clerical error allowed that, it still insists that Garcia is a gang member who should stay in El Salvador. A federal judge in Louisiana, meanwhile, may rule today on whether a legal resident the U.S. is trying to deport can stay here or not. Mahmoud Khalil, accused of being a Hamas terror sympathizer for leading destructive anti-Israel protests at Columbia University last year.
This is basically going to set the precedent on whether the federal government is able to successfully deport these students who participated in these protests.
Fox's Brooke Taylor outside the court in Louisiana says Secretary of State Marco Rubio is leading this.
Rubio reiterating that he's using an immigration law that lets him deport any alien considered a threat to U.S. foreign policy.
Now, the U.S., meanwhile, has an American back from a Russian jail, Ksenia Karolina, thanking President Trump for the prisoner swap that set her free in a video she made right after landing last night back in the U.S. The president reposted it on Truth Social.
I never felt more blessed to be American, and I'm so happy to get home. Thank you.
Welcome home.
Thank you so much.
Karolina was arrested while visiting family in Russia, where she's a dual citizen, over a $52 donation she made here in the U.S. to a charity in Ukraine. And today, European countries pledged to send billions of dollars worth of additional military aid to help Ukraine battle Russia. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A 12-year-old girl injures a classmate. Most of the state, including Marion County, is under a freeze warning. Partly cloudy and 42 degrees in the Circle City, but it feels like 34. I'm John Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:02. That's what investigators say happened when she cut a boy with a razor blade at Southport's 6th grade academy Thursday morning. He had to get stitches. The boy's mother stated that the girl brought the razor blade to school to try and cut a child's dreadlocks. Perry Township Schools confirmed the incident and said they did not believe the girl had malicious intent. Additionally, Perry Township Schools is facing a lawsuit. They're accused of fostering an atmosphere of violence because previously a special needs student was attacked there. It may take other countries joining with the U.S. to come down harder on China to end the trade war. Chris Davis explains.
It's not just us.
Congressman Rudy Yakum of North Central Indiana questioning U.S. Trade Ambassador Jamison Greer in a House Ways and Means Committee hearing this week in D.C. He points out that China is making way more cheap goods than the world needs and shipping them everywhere.
Okay, are you able to comment, Mr. Ambassador, on reports that Canada and Mexico are open to coordination on Chinese overcapacity?
We have encouraged for years our close trading partners to take stronger action against China of the types of actions that we are taking.
For now, China is the holdout on tariff negotiations. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
One part of the amended property tax relief bill is that disabled veterans would get help with it, but Democrat Representative Carrie Hamilton says even with her personal background, she's still not a fan of it.
I can't support this bill, unfortunately. My dad is a disabled American veteran who owns a home in Brown County. I know he'll be glad to get that credit. Overall, I know he'll be sad to see public services hurt. And overall, his neighbors not see real property tax relief, real tax relief.
The bill was approved in the House. It goes back to the Senate next week, and a full breakdown of what's in it at WIBC.com. The Indiana Pacers secured home court advantage in round 1 of the NBA playoffs by beating Cleveland Thursday night. They play Orlando tonight at 7. And Purdue University's agricultural department say they started driftwatch.org to improve communication between growers of specialty crops and pesticide applicators. The website helps protect things like Christmas trees, greenhouses, vegetables, fruit trees, and more, while also sharing crucial information between industry professionals. I'm John Herrick, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. It's 11:04. Kendall and Casey coming back in 1 minute.
WindowNation.com, that's where you go to replace your cold, drafty windows with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation like I did. I love my Window Nation windows. I've saved a ton on energy bills. And your new windows can be installed in 1 day or less.
Go big or go home. And that's what they're doing at Window Nation. Right now, get four windows for free with every 4 that you buy. And there's no limit. The more you buy, the more free ones you get. 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years. You don't pay anything until 2027, and you get 4 windows for free when you buy 4. And on top of that, get a free entry door when you buy a house full of windows. This deal is not going to be around forever, so you got to hustle. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So our lieutenant governor kind of has an opinion on this.
Yeah, he put out a video on Facebook a couple hours ago. It's 8.5 minutes long.
Okay, so Micah Beck with our lieutenant governor who ran on property tax reform has been basically totally silent on this the past 2 days. And look, some people are like, well, are you and Micah not friends anymore? Do you not like Micah? No. But I told Micah, and I've talked about this publicly, so I'm not breaking any trust. I told Micah when he got elected, I said, look, we will always be friends. But the relationship between us is now about to change because you're no longer an advocate. You're a politician. You're a guy with power. And my loyalty will always be 100% to this show and informing our audience of what's going on. And Casey, you've heard this. You've heard our conversations. How many times has he said, great, hold me accountable?
Yeah.
This is me holding him accountable the way I would anyone else. I love Micah. He's my friend. But I would be doing a huge disservice to you, our audience. I've spent 20 years building a relationship with the people of Central Indiana as a radio broadcaster. I'm not going to blow that for any politician. And all I'm doing is holding him accountable the same way I do everybody else, which why would anybody believe in me if they're like, well, Rob just gives his buddies a free pass?
Yeah.
So that's what this is about. Micah is my friend. I'm doing the thing he told me to do, which is hold him accountable. And right now, he is not doing what he needs to be doing based on the things he said when he was running. That's all this is, period.
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, okay. So he put out, he reciting The Great Gatsby? I mean, it's like an 8-minute video.
Well, he did a Facebook Live, and it was 8.5 minutes long. He was in his car.
So you would not be able to find this on Twitter or anything else. So you have to go to, I guess, the Micah Beckwith for Lieutenant Governor or whatever.
Micah Beckwith for Indiana.
Facebook page if you want to see it.
Yeah.
And it took a while, but I guess he's finally sort of answered the question.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen to this where he's trying to explain what's going on with lit. You tell me if you think any average person, now I broke it down. I'm going to break it down again when he's done. Because based on his answer, we should be done here and Braun should be vetoing this bill based on what the words he says. But you tell me if you think the average person in normal English could understand a word he says, and then he'll tell you what he thinks the governor should do and what the governor will do.
And so there has to be a mechanism that they say that they can use to be able to increase taxes somewhere else, which is the concern. It's just shifting the tax burden. You're not actually lowering the tax burden. And so they will do that with what they call the local option income tax, or we call it the lit tax. And so right now, there's a process for communities to raise the lit tax, but it's got to go through a board, and unless all the taxing entities agree, it makes it really hard to actually implement a lit tax. This would make it easier for the different taxing entities to raise your lit tax up to and no more than 2.9%. If they're there already, or if they're higher than that, they're going to have to come down. So you might actually see a decrease according to the 2.9% threshold. But if they're down at 1.5, they could potentially raise the lit tax up to 2.9. So that means your income tax could get taxed more. Now, so what do we do? It's kind of like we're in a rock being our hard place. So here's where the governor stands, and first of all, I've told him, I said, Governor, if this is going to across the board just raise taxes on everybody, you got to veto it. And he agrees. He's not going to let that become law if it's just going to raise the taxes in other ways. So that is not the goal of in any way, shape, or form of what we've been trying to do. So if he has to...
Cool. Perfect. I think that's enough, right? That's a fair analysis of what he said. You've heard the video. Okay, so let's talk about how this raises taxes again, because we all heard in plain English, the part we could understand in plain English. If this bill raises taxes across the board, the governor will veto the bill. He has told the governor to veto the bill. We heard both of those things, right?
Yeah.
Kevin, can you pull the Braun math up? I want to play this first. So we heard the lieutenant governor say right there that he has told the governor if the bill raises taxes to veto it. We've heard him say that the governor will veto the bill if it raises taxes across the board.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do the real world example in a second, but I want you, don't listen to me. Listen to Representative Ed Delaney. He's a Democrat. So we all know the Democrats are not the party of low taxes, right? They're certainly not afraid to raise your taxes. If anybody knows how to raise taxes, it's the Democrats. Here is Ed Delaney's description of what this bill actually does.
I wanted to focus on this. This is what I call Braun, B-R-A-U-N, Braun math. It's a new kind of math. And by the way, I'm quoting from the governor, speaking about Braun math. He came out with a report this morning, or a press release. He had praised this agreement under this bill. And he now says, I trust the deal as it was described as what the amendment was passed, but I have our team going through line by line to verify all the language matches the deal. If we find errors or it doesn't do what I agreed to, then I'm confident the House and Senate will make needed edits to honor the deal before I allow it to become law. So the governor does not understand the deal. Okay, but he agreed to it. But back to the essence of Braun math. It's right there. Representative Thompson and I think, just agreed on the math. Please understand, over 3 years, homeowners will save about $1.3 billion is the estimate. In each one of those 3 years, the local authorities will be able to raise your local income tax by $3 billion. So my math is that could be 9. I don't think that'll happen. But Braun math says that if I save you a nickel in your left pocket, I can take 15 nickels out of your right pocket. This is not good math. And by the way, this puts a lot of pressure on the local governments. If they want to provide the services that they've been providing, the vehicle is there. The vehicle is the local income tax. So don't overreact, folks. Count all your tax bills next year. Don't just look at the one that'll probably be in lovely colors telling you saved some money on your homeowner's tax.
Yeah. Okay. So you heard the lieutenant governor say he has told the governor, or he told the governor and will tell the governor, that if the bill raises taxes, to veto the bill. You've heard him say the governor will veto the bill if it raises taxes across the board. And then you just heard right there a Democrat who is certainly not opposed to raising taxes talk about how this will dramatically raise taxes across the board.
So if my understanding is there are some areas where the lit is higher than 2.9, and they're saying that now it's only going to be at 2.9%. That's the most it can be. But then there are other areas that are not at 2.9%, so it could be raised.
So here's a great example. I'll use where I live, okay?
Yeah.
Right now, in order for the town of Brownsburg to adopt its own local income tax, they would have to go through the Hendricks County Council and a variety of hoops to get that done. It's very complex, okay? It's very unlikely that would ever happen. Under this bill, they could do it themselves. You are eliminating a barrier of transparency to local governments being able to raise these income taxes. Again, here's the example I'm going to use. I used it earlier in the show. If you have a giant rain barrel, these things that collect rain goes in there, whatever. Giant rain barrel, and it is full of water. The rain has all gone into that big, big bin. And then you've got 4 other little buckets next to the giant barrel that's full of water. 2 of the buckets are totally empty. And then the other 2 buckets have a small amount of water in them, so there's plenty of area that you could put rain in all of these buckets. There's plenty of room for the rain to grow. What the state is essentially saying is, we're going to remove 2 of these buckets. That's when they talk about we're lowering the amount of lit that's available. They're misleading you by saying, oh, no, we're limiting the amount of lit. See, it went from this number, whatever, 3.75 billion to 2.9 billion, whatever the number was. There's so many numbers at this point. What they're saying is we're eliminating that, and we're actually decreasing the amount of lit that's available. Well, that's technically true. They're getting rid of the 2 buckets that no one ever uses, because right now the governments are getting enough money from property taxes
in the rain barrel,
which is the rain barrel that's full of water. They don't have to touch these other buckets. They don't have to go for it. So the government knows, the state, Braun, Houston, Thompson, they know these 2 buckets aren't currently being used. So we're going to get rid of those. Look at what we're doing for you. There's 2 less buckets. But what's going to happen is they're dumping a bunch of water out of the barrel that's full into these other buckets that didn't have any water in them. So these governments, these local governments that previously weren't using income tax, now are going to max out the income tax because they're not getting the money from property taxes. So at best, your property tax and income tax will now wash each other out, which means you'll get no savings. Then we've done the math, and for most people within 3 years, whatever property tax savings you're getting is going to be eclipsed by the increases that are still allowed to happen under this bill. So at the best case scenario, within 3 years, your income tax increase will level out your property tax decrease, and the property taxes keep going up over time, which means you have a tax increase. Oh, and by the way, that's if your local school system, which gets none of the local income tax, doesn't pass a referendum, which will dramatically raise your taxes.
Which means they could be even bringing in a whole new bucket.
So, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, since I just laid it out here for you again, and Ed Delaney, who said the same thing in a different way, just laid it out for you again, are you now willing to say publicly, unless you refute this, and Hammer's invited you to come on the show later today, that this bill does indeed raise taxes? If Micah thinks he knows this better than me, if Micah thinks he knows this better than Ed Delaney, say it. Tell us where we're wrong. I spent years of my life in this, Casey. Ed Delaney has spent years of his life in this.
If Micah thinks he knows it better, tell us where we're wrong. I'm all ears. Or if he agrees with us, then will he publicly finally say the governor needs to veto this bill? And will he hold the governor to account of what he said, which is the governor will veto this bill if it raises taxes?
Well, I think he did say that. He said that he wanted it to be vetoed if it raises taxes.
It does.
Well, there you go.
I'm amazed. Well, I guess we just go to a break now. I don't know if there's nothing else to say.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams sunk in, that's are us.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us, too, in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
You want to do some tariff talk really
how
quick?
Exciting.
Get off of property taxes
buddy.
and talk about tariffs. Of course, Donald Trump came out and he announced that 90-day pause on reciprocal tariffs with the exception of China. And there have been no current negotiations with China. This according to the U.S. Trade Rep Jameson Greer. China has responded by increasing their tariffs on all U.S. goods. They raised theirs again. You know, they went up to 84%. And now they have raised theirs to 125%.
All right, so my mother-in-law and I were having this conversation last night. She's a big Trump supporter, and we were talking about the tariffs, and she listens, and she said, well, like, what do you think is going on? And, you know, obviously, full disclosure, we've been so focused on this local stuff. And by the way, did you see they killed the school board bill for now?
SB 287.
We'll get to that next, about just how rotten these people are. But anyway, and she said, well, like, what do you think is going on with the tariffs? And I said, look, I've always said this about Trump, and it's true. He's a billionaire. and I live in a 1,600 square foot brick ranch home, right? So
these are not the same.
So he clearly understands economics and how, development works better than I do. So I'm not pretending that. What I am at a loss of is at the same time, the mass implementation and then the just fluctuating way in which he handles and puts on and puts off with no rhyme or reason. When I first got elected to public office, a guy in economic development told me this, and it is so true, about how you handle public policy. The stock market handles good news. The stock market handles bad news. Stock market can thrive. Look, it thrived under Obama, it thrived under Biden. Stock market finds a way. It's like a cockroach right in a nuclear holocaust. It'll find a way to live. It's Keith Richards. The one time the stock market doesn't do well is uncertainty. And the job of when you look at when the stock market is very volatile and swings, it's uncertainty. And Trump, with these tariffs and the in and the out and the up and the down and the pause and the start, and then you're in and then you're out, he's creating so much uncertainty on what he's going to do from one day to the next. If the tariffs are a thing, cool. We'll ride it out and hope for the best, and hopefully in the end it's going to create a better economy. If the tariffs are not a thing, okay, we deal with that as well. Whatever it is, it is. You're a zebra or you're a horse. You can't be a zebra horse, right? And so my thing with Trump is I don't understand the vastness of the tariffs and why he went after all of these people at the same time and then keeps putting them on and off. And I think that is causing great uncertainty in our economy versus if he just did one thing and then cut your deals and then pull the tariffs off permanently whenever you have whatever deal you want to have.
Yeah, well, of course, he said that everybody's coming to the table to negotiate now. I believe the Prime Minister of Italy is coming in to negotiate just for Italy, not the EU. And it's very apparent, at least it seems like to me, that this has always just been about China. Because with the on and the off, except for China, Xi said that U.S. tariffs are going to lead to self-isolation. Nobody wins in a tariff war.
Wait. So like Joe in the YouTube chat says, Rob, because it's the art of negotiating.
Right, the art of the deal.
No, you're messing with people's lives when you're doing this. You're messing with people's lives and their employment and their retirement. This is not just art of negotiating. You're screwing with people when you're doing this. There's serious real world implications when you're doing this. This is not, I'm trying to get the best deal to build a casino. This is a whole different ballgame. And whatever the thing is, I'm okay with. He was elected to do the things that he campaigned on. But he keeps creating needlessly vast levels of uncertainty in our economy, which is getting people laid off. It's affecting wages. It's affecting work. It's affecting productivity. It's affecting stocks. Again, I'm not as concerned about the stock market because the only time people care about the stock market is when it really affects them is when they cash out of the stock market, right? So I'm not as concerned about that. But what I am saying is whether it's economic development in your community or economic development and investment of the world, when there is uncertainty, you do not get good results. And the number one thing a president can do, whatever way he or she is going, is to give a clear direction. We're working through this same thing right now with the property taxes. There was never any clear direction. I mean, there was until the initial thing was presented, and then it got screwy. And what happened? You ended up with a horrible thing that everybody hates. Clear direction, steadfastness in your approach, steadiness in your approach. That's what our economy and our society craves. And I just think this is about fentanyl. Okay, cool. I'm with that. Well, now it's about trade imbalance. Well, I thought it was about fentanyl. You see what I'm saying? I'm looking for some level of certainty and consistency.
He was asked by a reporter, China retaliated by reducing the number of American films that can be shown there. And they asked, what is his reaction to that? And he said that he's heard of worse things. But very much like you with the red-shirted teachers on Monday going to the State House, politics making odd bedfellows. Gretchen Whitmer, governor of Michigan, she was at the White House, and she announced that she actually supports Donald Trump on this.
I understand the motivation behind the tariffs. And I can tell you, here's where President Trump and I do agree. We do need to make more stuff in America. More cars and chips. More steel and ships. We do need fair trade.
So she's looking out for Selfridge Air Base. It's one thing they talked about when she was there, which is in the UP.
But let's have an honest conversation about what he's proposing. Much of the things he's saying we need to do here, we have no ability to do here. It's not like we have the thing sitting there and, hey, if it just comes
turn
back,
it on.
We'll be. You're talking years until these things could be implemented, and that's okay if there's a long-term vision. Again, doesn't this sound like a familiar theme? Same thing with the property tax. If this was step one in a 4-step play, and you tell me what years 2, 3, and 4 like, I'm more open to hearing it. If Trump were to say, here's what we're doing and here's where we're going. This is the problem with the swinging with the reasons and the logic and the, like, what is the plan on all of this? Because some of these places that he's fighting with over these tariffs and the things he's claiming to want to bring back, you're 6, 7, 8 years away before you could even, if you could perfect it, bring it back to here. Is that really worth right now? Again, these are all reoccurring themes. Same thing with Musk and the Doge and the thing that Mitch Daniels talked about getting the small wins and building on that and elevating that and then building momentum behind things. Is it really worth going after everything at once versus getting wins, keeping the economy stable, keeping certainty in the economy,
doing it incrementally,
getting these wins, building these wins, and saying, hey, it's a 3-year thing versus a 3-month thing? Look, I'm just throwing this out there as some casual observer from the outside who has a small little retirement plan and goes to work each day. I don't pretend to understand the economy as well as
Donald Trump doesn't have that time, though. I mean, he doesn't. If he wants to affect change, he can't take his time.
But he does have 3 years. He's president for 4 years.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to take it all on at once. And again, before people call me a Trump hater, I am honest about what I observe. I don't pretend to be an expert in everything. I don't pretend to have a degree in economics. As I said, I'm a local bird lawyer here, right? Like commenting from the peanut gallery with the guy who has a small level of retirement and goes to work each day.
Well, you said he does have 3 years, but if you really think about this in reality, he's got 18 months because all of these people are going to start running for office and cutting deals trying to keep their position.
I would believe in this more if his actual the budget plan that they're looking at passing. I would believe in this more if it mirrored what he's talking about doing with these tariffs. And this budget, which, by the way, the Republicans caved and are now going to operate off the Senate budget plan, and they can spin whatever lie they want to you about, oh, well, we got these guarantees from Thune and blah, blah, blah. Nope. You're going to get a lot more debt. You're going to get a lot more spending. You're going to get, they're not doing anything to rein these things in, which would make America buying power greater, which would make the American dollar mean more, which would make American jobs and American industry more valuable. If they were doing this stuff with the budget, then I would be more apt to buy into it. But he's doing the same thing he did the last time with this massive spending plan, these massive legalized vote buying giveaways, these special tax carve-outs, which make the tax code more complex. So you can't tell me on one end when you're not walking the walk over here that I'm just supposed to believe in you and invest in you over here.
You know, it's interesting here in Indiana, it's split because you've got Jim Banks on one side, who has been obviously very pro-Trump, and he's on board with the tariffs. And then you have Todd Young on the other side, who wants congressional
and you know what the crazy thing is?
Tariffs.
They're both equally insufferable, Casey, as people. That's wild. Isn't that crazy?
Let's talk about SB 287 when we come back. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They confirm that she brought a razor blade to school. I'm Sean Herrick. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Police say a 12-year-old girl used that razor blade on a boy and cut his arm at Southport's 6th grade academy Thursday morning. The boy's mother says the girl did it on purpose and was also trying to cut another child's dreadlocks. The boy was released and got the medical care he needed, while Perry Township Schools says they're sorting through everything. There's a possibility the helicopter that crashed into the Hudson River in New York City on Thursday Tuesday ran out of fuel, but investigators are still looking into that. 6 people died. This man named Bruce Wall describes what he saw.
Just walking, all of a sudden you look up to the sky and it's just slowly falling apart.
The NTSB is supposed to give an update sometime today. And last hour, the Indianapolis Colts announced that they are re-signing tight end Mo Alley Cox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a DSNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A DSNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana DSNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
You ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes based out of Greenfield. See one of their model homes in person anytime. It is a great way for you to experience the customization and quality of a Joyner Homes custom built home. Plus, you can meet with a new home specialist to learn about their building process. Available lots if you don't already have one. Find out about floor plans and where they build. Model homes are open 7 days a week from noon to 5 and walk-ins are welcome. Find out more at JoynerHomes.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
At Hendricks,
your cancer care is in the details.
You have questions, and our dedicated clinicians and expert oncologists will answer them.
You have hills to climb,
and we are going to climb them.
You have dreams,
and we're here to help you chase them.
You have cancer, and you have all the expertise,
the determination, and the kindness of the entire Hendricks team.
Backed by Mayo Clinic expertise.
It's not just cancer care.
It's Teresa Care. Visit hendricks.org/cancer.
Hey guys, it's Rob for Universal Windows Direct. Boy, you're taking it big time on this property tax bill, and you could need to find some ways to save some money. And boy, is Universal Windows Direct here for you with their spring home improvement event, where for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. No limit. Need 4, you pay for 2. Need 12, you pay for 6. For a limited time, Universal Windows Direct, on top of this, is also offering no interest until 2030. That's right, 6 years, no interest. But wait, that's how they say it in the business, right? But wait, there's more. Get a bonus. Yes, Casey, thank you. Say it loud, Casey, for everybody here. But wait, there's more. Perfect, very good. Get a bonus of $500 off your entire home improvement project. So let's review all 3 of those. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no interest until 2030, and $500 off your home improvement project. Now, some restrictions may apply, just to get all the details, and most importantly, schedule your totally free in-home estimate. Call Universal Windows Direct today at 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Tell them Rob sent you.
Help DEA keep our communities safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment. Brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at boerremodeling.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Hey, they're screwing us on everything, Casey.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? So the Indiana House, they passed that bill on Monday that would make school board races partisan, and then it was sent to the Senate for consideration.
No, wait. It'll make
Did I
school
get that
board
right?
No, it'll make school board races like every other race in the state of Indiana. The surveyor, the coroner, the county council. All it says, you got to put a party affiliation next to you, whatever you are, like every other race. I always hate, and I'm not blaming you, everybody, because that's how they sell it. Oh, it's a partisan school board bill. No, it's making school board elections like every other election in this state. Go ahead.
Thank you for the rebranding. Okay, so the House passed it. It's Senate Bill 287.
The Senate passed it originally.
Right, and they sent it to the House. And the House said, yeah,
Real
good.
quick. So the Senate passed a stronger bill than the House. The House said, we're going to run elections for school board like every other election. You got to run in a primary. Republican wins, Democrat wins. You guys run in a general. House said, we think that's too extreme. We're going to dumb it down a little bit and say, you only run in a general election, but you got to have a party affiliation. Wasn't what I wanted, but okay, fine. Everything, okay, it's a no-brainer. It's not even as strong as the one the Senate sent. Everybody wants to get something. We'll send it back to the Senate. They send it back, and they're like, no, we're not doing that now.
Yeah, what happened? What is going on there?
I think it's the same thing Braun did to us on property taxes. I think it's stringing people along. Clearly, these people have no problem lying. They lie all the time. They lie about everything. We'll string you along. We'll make you believe something. It'll keep people off our ass. And then at the very end, we'll go, nah, we ain't doing that.
So did the House amend the bill that much that the Senate has an issue with it?
No. If you wanted to fix these school board races, which they don't, the Senate doesn't. The Senate thinks it's fine. The Senate thinks it's fine that these suburban school districts where everybody else in the city or the town is a Republican, and you get these leftist Democrats on these school boards because they don't have to put a letter next to their name, they think that's fine. They think that's okay. And so what they did is they strung everybody along. How do you pass a bill and then it comes back to you and it's even a little bit less than what you passed before? And you go, nah, we're not doing that.
Something happened. Something happened there. Well, yikes, because at this point, the Braun administration's not really coming through.
You think? Oh, and by the way, the other thing they did yesterday is they bid this big boost about how they're going to have transparency for the trips that Diego takes. So there, all this transparency now because of Diego's mysterious trip to India, which we still don't demand any answers on. Diego was at that dinner last night. Nobody went up to him and said, "Who paid for your trip, bucko?"
Right. He was there at the state dinner, and nobody asked him.
They're not demanding anything on that, but they want you to believe now they're going to get answers going forward. However, they exempted trips paid for by private people. The trip was paid for by a private person. That's the problem. These people are just the worst, and they lie to you and they mislead you and they send out these press releases acting like they did things. I'm sick of them, Casey. I'm sick of every single, and I'm so glad the natural order of the world has been restored.
You really are back to yourself again, aren't you?
I'm so glad.
Listen to this. It's Friday, Rob.
God, these people are they're just the worst of everything.
Did you see Diego was at the White House? He posted that on social media. He was all over. I mean, taking pictures in front
Trump
of
going to send him with those Venezuelans to that prison?
Who paid for that trip? Who paid for him to go to the White House?
You look at these people, and they do this every single year, and this year hurts more than any other because we had people in there who at least in the past have been like, yeah, we hate you. And
you knew it wasn't going to work with Holcomb.
And we gave it a shot.
Thought it was a fresh start.
So I don't even want to hear from any of you people ever again about if Rob were just nicer to these people, if Rob just tried to work with them, if Rob just tried to get along. What did I try? You know what probably happened? The Senate probably found out Prescott was in charge of the thing in the House. And they're like, if that dumbass wants something, then we probably shouldn't even be anywhere near it. So that's probably what went down. But again, everything we tried to work with these people on, everything we were nice about, everything we compromised on, everything said, we'll do whatever you want, they're all failing. It's all failing, Casey.
The Senate is where bills go to die, and that's becoming very clear. Susan Beckwith is going to join us next for the Friday Mind Your Manners segment.
Micah is letting us down immensely, but Susan never lets us down. And we don't hold people accountable for who they're married to.
I hope not. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's
It's Hammer and Nigel show, 3 o'clock this afternoon. It's Beer Sample Friday. We're going to have some barguments. Are you guys ready to have some fun? It's been a long week. 93 WIBC.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Spring is here, and that means it's time for new flooring in your home. Brothers Floor Covering is ready to help. Brand new carpet, hardwoods, laminates, and luxury vinyl plank in stock now. Plus, Brothers Floor Covering can get your new flooring installed in as little as 2 weeks. Visit Brothers Floor Covering today at their new location, 8550 North Michigan Road. Discover why buying local means getting more, not paying more. Get the flooring of your dreams installed now. Go to brothers-floorcovering.com. That's brothers-floorcovering.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
It's JMV, and the greenhouse at Miss M's Home and Garden is bursting with great tropical plants, hibiscus, mandevillas, ferns, palms, and more. State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
You support them. Who supports you? Matt Bear and Ryan Hedrick provide insight, encouragement, and resources to help you navigate a loved one's recovery on the Supporting Sobriety podcast. Listen and get support wherever you get your podcasts.
Susan, looks like I'm losing my mind.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's Friday, and you know what we do on Fridays, don't you, Rob?
You get to tell me to get out of your way. You're going home.
Well, no, I meant actually we get to learn some manners and how to be better people in society.
That's right, we do. And look, we don't just turn this show over to any rank amateur.
Mm-hmm.
We have nothing but the best on this program.
It's true.
Even on our manners segment.
That's right.
And for our Mind Your Manners segment, each week we talk with our own former Miss Indiana. She's now the second lady of the state of Indiana, Susan Beckwith. Susan, hello.
Hello. Happy Friday.
All right, so we're doing, this is a good one for you, Casey, because quite frankly, I think your etiquette on this is just abhorrent.
What?
It's coffee etiquette.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
I didn't either, but whatever yours is it's abhorrent. And I'm sure Susan's going to give you many. Yes, that's you've never sounded more attractive to our audience than you did right there.
And that, of course, is always my goal.
Susan, I didn't even know there was a coffee etiquette.
Neither did I.
Well, honestly, truly, just some random facts that there are some, various protocols around drinking coffee and, coffee dates and that kind of thing. So, but I feel like tea etiquette is much more common.
I've never drank an entire cup of coffee in my entire life.
Ever?
No, I think maybe the most I've ever had is at one time is one sip of coffee. It's awful.
How did you make it? Was it just black coffee, or did you put
make it.
cream or sugar in there?
Somebody had it and was like, "Here, drink this," and it was just horrible.
Flavor syrup, or
it was awful.
Yeah,
I was like, this is probably what they give to people at Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, no, it's an acquired taste, I think.
Yeah,
only adults drink coffee.
Yeah. That's the problem, right? You and your juice packs, Rob. It's not going to work for anybody. All right, what's the first rule of coffee etiquette?
Well, actually, how this came up is I had a friend who is starting to build a business, and so she's having a lot of coffee chats, and they kind of have a professional bent. They're not just personal. And so she said, who pays for those? Because, I'm not sure, and it's been a little awkward at times. And so I shared with her that if you are initiating the coffee, then you are supposed to be the one that covers the expense. You are the responsible party.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. If I were to say, hey, Rob, let's go grab a coffee, I know you wouldn't order coffee, but since I was doing the inviting, I should be the one to pay.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. That seems accurate. Now, I do this all the time. People will say, do you want to meet at such and such a coffee place? And I'm like, no, I don't. No, I'm not doing that. Let's go to McDonald's. It's the unlimited free refill. Is that a tacky move to meet people for business at the McDonald's, Susan, because I don't like coffee?
Well, I think if you're willing to give them your time, you can pick. So, hey, nothing wrong with, the apple pies at McDonald's are fire. So
because they always stare at me like, what? Why would? And I said, look, I don't drink the coffee. Mm-hmm. Why would I go somewhere where I'm going to be unhappy?
Yeah, and you've got plenty of options at McDonald's. And if that person really wanted coffee, they could have coffee at McDonald's.
That's right. Very good. All right. So this is why I don't ask people to go anywhere, because I don't want to pay for things. So, okay, we've checked that box. Susan, what's next?
Well, kind of part two of the conversation was the person that she was meeting was going to be arriving after her. So she had texted and said, hey, what can I get you? And the person replied, don't worry about it. I plan to also order food when I get there. And so in that circumstance, she wasn't sure what to do. Like, should I still offer to cover it all? And I shared in that circumstance, since she's going to want to do more, then it's okay for her to actually, cover for.
She elevated.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. So let me make sure I understand this. If you just get the thing that I advertise, like in this case, I said you want to go get coffee, I pay for it. But if you're trying to upsize anything, it's on you.
Yeah, I think in that circumstance, because you want them to not feel like, well, I don't want to order too much because they're covering and I don't know how much they're willing to pay. So I think if you are going to extend it beyond what they had initially offered of just, hey, let me buy your cup of coffee, then, you are the person that initiated is then not responsible.
So really the approach, Casey, would be you invite somebody to coffee, they get there, and then you're like,
aren't you hungry?
Yeah, you're not going to get any food?
You look so thin. You should have more. So when Rob invites people to McDonald's, he's going to be like, hey, do you want some nuggets? No? You want more? You want a Big Mac? That's on you.
That's okay. Very good. So now a strategy is forming here. I'm working through the process. Susan, what is step number 3 of the coffee etiquette?
Yeah, so this one is maybe not as common as it once was because of Keurig machines and single-serve coffee machines. But if you are in an office setting and you are the one that drains the coffee pot, then it's proper etiquette for you then to brew another. So it's ready for the next person.
Yeah, you got to refill.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a true story?
Yes, please.
When I worked at the golf course and I would have to open on the weekends, like the first week I worked there, they were like because I was also in charge of the bar, and they were like, "Hey, make sure you go ahead and brew. What is it? What's it called with coffee? What's the thing called? Is it a
carafe?
No, but I mean, like, what's the amount of coffee when you're brewing? Is there? It's not like a gallon or like a pot,
6 cups, a pot.
Yeah. They're like, make sure you brew a pot of coffee. And I was so embarrassed because I've never done any of it. I had to look at my boss. And I'm like,
can you teach me?
Can you show me how to do that?
It's awesome. Well, you put the filter in, you put the coffee in, you put the water in, and turn it off.
Yeah, and then I was like, "That's it? That's all there is to this?" He's like, "Yeah, it's really that easy." I was like, "Oh wow."
Yeah.
I'm a 30-whatever-year-old man, and I've never done this before.
Well, some of the office contraptions can be kind of elaborate.
No, this was not.
Yeah, no, this was not. Well, you know now, don't you?
Yeah, boy, howdy. All right, do we have time for one more? Yes, we do. One more coffee etiquette, Susan.
Okay, I know this one's going to be like, what in the world? I can just hear your thoughts now, but there is actually a proper way to stir cream in your coffee. So just like it is with tea, you do not go clockwise or counterclockwise. This is just a little tip. You go north and south, 12 and 6.
What? I've never heard that.
What did you just say?
When you stir your cream, north and south, 12 and 6, not in a circle. Wow.
Why?
It's just protocol. That's just how you do it.
Who made that rule?
Then I don't know, but then you place the, spoon on the side of your saucer. Now, I will say saucers aren't as common with coffee as they are with tea. So I knew this one would be like, what in the world and why do we care?
Wait. Time out. You're punking me the way the governor punked us that he cared about property taxes, right? Like, this is an impractical joke.
This isn't a thing.
You're like, I'm going to end it with this and just see if Rob will take the bait and go along with it, right? There's no way that what you just said is actually a thing.
It is actually a thing. And I will tell you, last night we were at the Indiana State GOP dinner, and I was telling them, I'm like, we're all breaking protocol, but it's good because we were talking about SB1 at the table. So you should know that it was still a hot topic. And but I thought you would appreciate that.
Well, that's that's wonderful. I can't think of a better way to go into the weekend knowing, Casey, you have been breaking protocol your entire adult life.
My entire life. I had no idea. You know what? I don't even stir the cream in my coffee.
You just dump it in?
No, not when I bring in my tumbler, because I put the cream in and then I do the Keurig and it fills it up and it kind of stirs itself. But
very good.
I had no idea. My whole world has changed now.
You're gonna be, and people across central Indiana are gonna be. This is gonna be the topic of conversation this weekend.
North to south, 12 and 6 to stir your coffee.
I will say, this is lighthearted and obviously silly, but I will say in other countries, they take coffee etiquette very seriously. Like, especially in Italy, there's a whole way that you're supposed to drink espresso and when you're supposed to drink it. And so, but no, these are just some very random fun tips. But all came about because of my friend, in her coffee chat.
I'm wondering, after you stir the coffee, is there a correct place to put the spoon if you have a saucer?
Yeah, just, on the saucer, so not back on the table. But, with coffee, I don't feel like it's served with the saucers often. And then also, everybody is familiar with a teapot. But there are things such as a coffee pot, and they're typically a little bit taller and more slender. So.
Some Southside hillbilly today is going to be like, Harold, you're doing the creamer wrong.
I hope so. That would be great.
Tell us about the website, Belle of the Midwest, and the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Send me your etiquette questions. I love hearing from you. And if you want kind of regular content, I say I probably post the most on my Belle of the Midwest Facebook page.
Belle of the Midwest, BELLE of the Midwest.com, as well as Facebook. Susan, thank you.
You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. And that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening. Have a great weekend. We'll catch you back here on Monday with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
You're listening to 93 WIBC. I'm Matt Bear. I'm excited to have a special guest joining us, Jeff Jr., the founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth.
What's up, Matt?
I hear your connection to Indiana runs pretty deep. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. My wife used to live in Indiana, and my father and mother-in-law, they actually live in Kokomo. And my brother-in-law, he lives in Franklin. With so much family here, it was only natural to bring Trajan Wealth to greater Indiana and help all the Hoosiers plan for a better financial future.
I also know you and your wife served our country in the Marine Corps. Would you say the Marine Corps helped with the financial business you were in?
Unequivocally, yes. I completely credit the Marine Corps with most all of the intangible qualities such as leadership, attitude, willingness to learn.
Trajan Wealth is a family-run, veteran-owned financial fiduciary. Call them today, 317-480-4040, 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
Best are us when dreams don't end. Best are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate.